Our guy, he's the literal son of the Demon King, a ruthless prince who'd wipe out entire bloodlines without blinking. His reward, bam, exiled to the human world. Now this absolute menace is stuck playing normal high schooler dealing with humans, basically his worst nightmare. But get this, his demonic power instantly reacts to evil, and Earth, it's crawling with it. So instead of serving his time out quietly, he keeps getting dragged into absolute chaos, unleashing forbidden demonic magic where he really shouldn't. Let's rewind. Meet Ravis Vindica, the guy who literally slaughtered everyone inside the Hilt clan's fortress. The last survivor, spitting blood, cursing his name, screaming about how Ravis could never possibly get away with this absolute massacre. Ravis just smirked. Did this fool seriously think he showed up without knowing the dirty secrets the Hilt clan was hiding? This wasn't mindless murder. Nope. This was a royal execution, ordered and delivered by Vindica. Then slash. Game over for the survivor. But wiping out a noble family, yeah, that has consequences. He got dragged straight to court standing right before the Demon King, his own dad. His father was absolutely furious, pissed beyond belief, roaring about how his son dared to pull a stunt like this, calling him a clueless idiot. The king wanted hard evidence of treason, right, not a total bloody extermination of an entire bloodline. He'd shattered the demon realm's precious order, crossed the ultimate line, but our boy, he just snapped back, demanding to know what the hell he meant. The proof was literally staring him in the face. His dad already knew the Hilt clan were corrupt garbage hiding behind those old crusty noble politicians. But the king wouldn't punish them. How many insane crimes had they committed while everyone just conveniently looked the other way? The whole court glared at him. His dad coldly stated that executions require strict legal procedures, not the hot-headed rogue judgment of a rogue prince. Ravis actually laughed. A dark chuckle. This was completely utterly ridiculous. Darkness gets swallowed by deeper darkness. Hello, isn't that the literal #1 rule for surviving the demon realm? Gamadair just glared in dead silence. So Ravis pushed harder. How could the Vindica family call themselves rulers if they were too weak to consume that darkness? It was obvious. The king was letting the snobby nobles control the so-called order of the demon world. His dad sighed, dripping with disappointment. Being so narrow-minded was just pure foolishness. Ravis fired back. Their royal family would only survive if the Hilts were wiped out. Those snakes would commit any crime just to steal the throne. Wasn't that exactly why his dad sent him to investigate? Because the others were just cowards hiding behind the Hilts and ignoring all the rules. The Demon King went quiet. He let out this heavy, exhausting sigh. Talking to this stubborn kid, completely pointless. The verdict was already set in stone, decided by the king alongside the legendary 12 Black Thrones. His voice boomed through the hall, handing down the ultimate sentence for breaking demonic law and wiping out the entire Hilt bloodline. Banishment, straight to the human world. Ravis felt his eyes go wide, panic setting in. Was his dad actually being serious right now? The king declared he had to atone on Earth, his powers completely sealed. He needed to learn some actual royal dignity before ever coming back. Our main character, yeah, absolutely not accepting this garbage fate. He yelled out, getting desperate. Sure, he slaughtered the physical bodies of the Hilt clan, but he left their souls totally intact. But his dad, already completely tuning him out. He just ordered the 12 thrones to instantly carry out the banishment. They swarmed him, chanting magic. Ravis was cursing up a storm, screaming that he rejected this. They needed to stop right now. He did absolutely nothing wrong. Nobody cared. One of the lords that jerk Benet blasted his face with demonic fire. Smirking like a villain, he wished him a fun little vacation. Benet promised to take real good care of his spot. Ravis roared in pure, unfiltered rage before the raging flames swallowed him whole. And just like that, the Demon Prince was banished to Earth. Now, here are the absolute rules for surviving. Rule 1, live the life of your new human vessel. Rule 2, no ending it early. And Rule 3, absolutely no killing humans. Break any of these, instant soul destruction. Fade to black. Then our boy gasped awake, trapped inside some random human's body. He practically launched himself out of bed, screaming his lungs out. But, wait. The pain. Totally gone. Panting hard, he stared down at his shaking, weak little human hands. Reality hit him like a truck. He was actually here. He ground his teeth in pure frustration. Smack. He slapped his own face hard. This was insane. He couldn't wrap his head around it. He was literally stuck in the mortal realm. That absolute trash tier demon Bane, the very second Ravis got back home, he was going to rip that guy's horn straight off. Suddenly, a wave of pathetic human weakness hit him. Why did this vessel ache so much? He stumbled up, staring at his palms again. Was he seriously stuck in this incredibly fragile meat suit? Those absolute morons from the Hilt clan. Completely useless trash right up to the bitter end. Just breathing the air here felt suffocating. Like, hello, is there zero sulfur in this atmosphere? Then Krauk. His bedroom door slowly opened. A young girl peeked in, the little sister of whatever poor guy used to own this body, just checking on all the wild screaming. Seeing him standing there, she froze. Her eyes instantly filled with tears, and she cried out, totally overwhelmed. Her brother. Had he finally woken up? Bam! She practically tackled him in a hug, sobbing about how incredibly happy she was, terrified he was never going to wake up. Ravi completely bewildered, just staring at her like, who the heck is this lady, the original owner's relative or something? Then Mom bursts in, Seo Juhi. She cries out for Minho, which guess that's our guy's name now, just absolutely bawling her eyes out with sheer relief, crying about all his suffering. And our main character, totally clueless. He had zero idea what was happening or how to handle this emotional mess. Rumor had it the human world was one of the 3 great hells. Like seriously, is he even going to survive this place? Enter the patriarch Jong Tasik. He sized up his kid with this icy glare while Mom is literally still weeping, trying to explain Minho just regained consciousness. The guy just stood there, silent, shot him an absolutely freezing glare, and ordered him to snap out of it. School starts tomorrow. Since he had been bedridden for an entire week, he had a massive mountain of studying to catch up on. And just like that, he walked out. Mom chased after him, begging for more time since Minho was weak, but Dad told her to zip it. He's awake, case closed. Ravi just stared after the guy, totally stunned. The girl asked if he was okay, but honestly, that cold, ruthless gaze kind of fascinated him. Not gonna lie, he started to like his new dad. Turns out humans can give off hardcore demon vibes too. He didn't even realize a massive creepy grin was spreading across his face, freaking Minho's sister right out until he finally caught himself. He instantly dropped the smile, frowning hard. He didn't even notice how much he enjoyed that dark energy. Gotta play it cool and lay low until the original body's memories finally kick in. Next day, time for school. Mom drove him there nervously, begging him to call her the exact second he felt sick during class. He hopped out, giving her a super quick goodbye while she just stared after him with pure anxiety in her eyes. Scanning the schoolyard, it hit him. Back in the demon world, he hadn't stepped foot in a place like this for over 600 years. For someone his age, being stuck in a human school is absolute torture. Then again, the human world is literally hell, right? Found his class, sat down and sighed. Humans barely even live 100 years. Better just keep his head down so his soul doesn't get completely annihilated. He had previously crushed the Hilt clan, buying himself some crucial time. So the plan, get back to the demon world and claim his dad's throne before the Vindica royal house collapsed completely. Meanwhile, 2 classmates snuck up behind him. One of them mocked how long it had been since they last saw him. Our guy just turned around, hitting them with a solid, icy frown. The punk threw an arm over his shoulder, smirking like a total creep. Hey, did you bring the cash you owe us from your little vacation? Just from that touch, Minho's body instinctively flinched, shrinking back in pure fear, which completely shocked our demon lord. Boom. The original Minho's memories slammed into him like a heavy truck. Endless bullying, ruthless beatdowns, sick laughter, while the poor kid just took the hits and cried. Now he knew exactly why his entire body was aching so badly. All thanks to these absolute trash-tier idiots. Tay randomly smacked him hard on the back of the head, mocking how pathetic and small he looked. Supposedly, they were buddies, yet he mocked how Minho had become even more pathetic. Still, slapping him around, the bully pulled out his phone, casually mentioning how long it had been since they last hung out. So he better say hi properly and cough up the cash as a sign of their friendship. Our main character, utterly shocked. He couldn't process that humans were actually hitting him. Flashback to demon school. They had this whole lesson explicitly covering what humans actually were. Some demon kid yelled out that humans were totally disgusting, basically spineless worms, guaranteed they smelled awful. And teacher Cynthia, she fully agreed with that. Humans are infinitely gross creatures. They will literally do anything to hide their pathetic weakness. Plus, they're absolute idiots, worshipping both demons and angels simultaneously. Young Ravis had literally said such morons should just be tossed into a fire. And his teacher totally agreed. If he ever crossed paths with a human, just crush them on the spot. Rage spiked. Fists tightly clenched. How dare this absolute trash-tier human lay a finger on him? Snap, he grabbed Tay's hair and viciously slammed his face straight into the desk. Yep, humans are morons. Tay shrieked, cursing him out and desperately screaming to be let go. Instantly, his buddy Songan lunged straight at our main character, screaming, "Have you completely lost your freaking mind?" But his demonic magic sparked instantly. He whipped around to face the guy who threw a wild punch while still screaming about him losing it. Back from the dead just to get killed again, but Ravis, he effortlessly tracked every single sloppy movement. Dodging smoothly, he thought. So human cursing actually triggers magic. Time to test that theory. He channeled that energy, delivering a devastating right hook, sending the guy literally flying backwards to smash into the lockers. Jaws dropped. The whole class was absolutely stunned into silence. Our boy just stared at his fist, totally confused, since his magic was supposed to be completely sealed here. Yet now it reacts to pure aggression even inside this frail human body. A classmate Shion nervously called out his name, terrified, and wondering if this absolute beast was really the Minho they knew. Meanwhile, desk-faced boy grabbed a chair, lunging for brutal revenge. Suddenly, the panicked boy screamed out, warning him of the danger. No hesitation. He spun around and planted a full-power kick right into the guy's chest. All the air gone. The bully gasped, cursing between heavy, desperate breaths. Ravis just smirked. You know the saying, people act tough to hide their own pathetic weakness. This guy actually thought shouting insults gave him a power-up. Bam! Another brutal strike directly to the lower jaw. Ravis honestly wondered who raised this kid to throw around such absolute garbage trash talk. His mom, maybe, and just like that, lights out. The bully slumped onto the floor, completely unconscious, right next to his equally out-cold buddy. Absolute silence. The whole class just stared in pure shock. Quiet wimpy Minho just destroyed Teo and Sunyuk. The whispers started instantly. Our main character, he just stood there smirking. He mentally challenged his old man, asking if he was still supposed to play the quiet victim. Then, flashing a downright terrifying smile, he turned to the class. Anyone else want to turn? Yeah. I dare you. Just try it. Minds were blown. The shy, invisible Minho acting like a complete boss. Unbelievable. Even Shion watched him totally stunned, having zero clue the guy was hiding this kind of insane strength. Shion nervously shuffled over. Are you okay? He mumbled. Ravis grinned. He remembered this timid kid actually trying to stand up for him earlier. Perfect minion material right here. Ravis gave him a dark, knowing look and said he was perfectly fine. Fast forward a bit, and the afternoon bell finally rang. Leaving the school grounds together, Shion was practically vibrating with excitement. He kept gushing over how ridiculously cool that solo beatdown was. Absolutely amazing. He seriously asked if Minho had been reincarnated as an overpowered hero from some fantasy world. Ravis froze. Panic hit him for a split second. Did this kid actually figure it out? Nope. False alarm. Shion was just a massive nerd obsessed with Muram Rancor, webtoons, and video games. Still, Ravis narrowed his eyes at him. For a moment there, he really thought his brand new servant had completely seen through his disguise. It reminded him of a recent chat back home with Bambi. The #1 rule of the human world, absolutely no killing. Break that rule and boom, instant death for any demon. When he asked why, teacher Cynthia had randomly claimed that cynical humans just needed to be crushed, Bambi completely ignored her nonsense, warning him not to treat human lives like a joke. They were literal gods of death, after all, rules mattered. Ravis had argued back. Rumor had it humans were always trying to off each other anyway. Bambi's response, humans are just idiots. That is exactly why their job even existed. Ravis totally brushed it off back then, but the older demon strictly told him to remember the warning. Kill a human, your soul gets completely wiped out. Erased. Ravis had just shrugged, acting like it was not his problem. Why would he care? He was a demon. Going to the human realm was not even on his to-do list. But fate, fate has a wicked sense of humor. Staring up at the sky, he sighed. If murder was off the table, how was he supposed to keep these annoying humans quiet? Right then, Shion mumbled, how awesome real reincarnation would be. He dreamed of just waking up somewhere entirely new. Looking at the kid, Ravis could practically smell the desperation and pure misery radiating off him. Of course, Shion quickly laughed it off. He knew isekai fantasies and magic systems were just make-believe nonsense. The guy had hit his breaking point after enduring so much everyday torment. Honestly, Ravis was just relieved his cover was not actually blown. But when Shion called him cool again, Ravis literally shuddered. Getting praised by a pathetic human, absolute demon humiliation. Anyway, night finally hit. He crashed on his bed ready to sleep. He started thinking about the fight. Whenever those punks got aggressive, his dormant demonic magic had definitely flared up, which made zero sense. A demon shoved inside a frail human vessel should not even be able to cast a spark, so how the hell did he do it? A cocky grin spread across his face. Hey, he was Ravis Vindica, the rules did not apply to him, but suddenly, bam, agonizing pain ripped through his entire body. He collapsed onto the mattress groaning. The harsh reality, this mortal shell was way too pathetic to handle his ridiculous power level. Day 1 of being human and he was already in absolute agony. He dramatized how he would not even be able to sleep through this nightmare. Yeah, right. The guy passed out in literally 1 second. Boom. Next day. Morning, afternoon, and evening flew by. The bell rang and our demon-turned-student walked out with his loyal lackey. Shion was beaming. He practically cried about how they had not experienced a peaceful school day in forever. He was seriously so grateful. Not a single bully had messed with them. Ravis just scoffed, looking completely annoyed. Honestly, he would have preferred someone trying to pick a fight. He was itching for an excuse to test his magic limits again. Right on cue, a voice shouted out his name from behind. He glanced back. Well. It was Teo flanked by a whole new squad of thugs. The sore loser had gone crying to his buddies for revenge. The head honcho of this little gang stepped up. He glared, demanding to know if Minho was the one who dared lay a hand on his little brother. Oh, the classic extortion racket. They protected students for a small fee, and this was how Minho repaid their generous kindness. The absolute nerve. Shion was literally shaking in his shoes. But Ravis, oh, he was absolutely thrilled. Flashing a massive, unsettling grin, he proudly admitted that yeah, he beat the crap out of him. The leader ordered him to follow them to a quiet spot. Ravis could not have been more excited if he tried. Scene change, an abandoned construction site. Perfect. The big boss instantly turned and started yelling at Teo. How could he let someone push him around and come crying back like a total wimp? Teo nervously begged for forgiveness. Then the leader slowly turned his attention back to our main character, asking what the hell he was supposed to do with him now. Letting him walk away was not an option. That would make him a terrible older brother who could not even avenge his own flesh and blood. The guy aggressively jammed a finger against Minho's forehead. Did his mommy teach him it was okay to beat up his good caring friends? Ravis just smirked. Yeah, actually, she did. The bully let out this awkward, strained laugh, calling him an absolute idiot. Then, he pulled his fist back, roaring about whether Minho thought this was some kind of joke. This bully actually tried throwing a punch. Cute. Our main character grabbed his wrist, instantly smirking as he remembered his mother's legendary string of curse words. He squeezed that wrist. Hard. Crunch. Yeah, followed immediately by an absolutely pathetic scream. The guy desperately tried yanking his arm back, but nope, he was completely trapped. Then Ravis went on the offensive. He struck him right in the face, randomly thinking about his terrifyingly powerful mom who could literally poison minds. While delivering this brutal beatdown, he got philosophical violence, breaks the body, but toxic words destroy the soul. Just like his mom used to say about these pathetic humans. Tao and his goons started panicking, shouting at the bully. Ravis just glared. Why just stand there? Come finish me off quickly, our guy mocked. The punks actually decided to rush him all at once. Big mistake. Perfect target practice. His eyes literally glowed as he dove into the chaos. Because here is the secret, more evil enemies equals more raw power. Bam. One perfectly placed punch to every single face. Shion watched absolutely stunned as this supposed fight quickly turned into a one-sided massacre. With all the trash cleared out, Ravis let out a dramatic sigh, throwing his arms wide open. Much better. Turns out his demonic uncle created physical violence, while his mom invented verbal abuse. Suddenly, he totally understood why humans loved fighting so much. He raised his hands, thanking his uncle, while his sidekick Shion just stared completely freaked out. But get this, a rat had been watching this whole spectacle. And nope, not a normal street rat. A demonic spy. Everything that creepy little rodent saw was being broadcast straight to his uncle Varkin. His lackey Bambi smirked, confirming the mission was a total success. This evil demon lord was absolutely thrilled with his nephew. Stepping right on a lower demon's head, Varkin chuckled. Looks like he enjoyed my little present. Bambi grinned, mentally gloating about secretly planting a demonic bloodstone in the kid's eye instead of a restriction seal. How long would that even last? Varkin just laughed, genuinely impressed that Ravis had actually managed to wipe out the entire Hilt clan. But Bambi warned him, Ravis absolutely would not stop until he got his bloody revenge. Varkin totally agreed. Nobody could break that kid's insane stubbornness, not even the Demon King Gamadair who ruthlessly kicked him out into the human world without a second thought. Bambi nodded respectfully. Only absolute crushing force works on trash like that, which funny enough was the exact motto of their great Demon King. Varkin gave this wicked smile. Only demons with unforgivable sins get banished to Earth. Our boy Ravis is going to have an absolute nightmare surviving down there. When did that little brat get so ridiculously dangerous anyway? Bambi casually asked if that was the real reason behind the bloodstone gift. Ignoring the question, Varkin hovered his hands over a magical bowl, announcing it was time to spy on their favorite exiled sinner. With a terrifying grin, the demon lord blasted raw, dark energy into the scrying bowl, filling it with the twisted souls of lesser demons. Since Ravis was stuck living among pathetic humans, he was bound to clash with them eventually. It was inevitable. Varkin stood up, molding that dark energy into a floating sphere, practically vibrating with excitement for the moment his nephew experienced true despair. Anyway, back on Earth. Our main character and his servant were chilling at a restaurant. While stuffing their faces with spicy tteokbokki, Shion kept fanboying over the insane fight. You utterly wrecked Toe's brother, like a straight-up action movie. Ravis just laughed, totally sweating. Is this the legendary taste of hellfire? Dude, what? Shion looked extremely confused. Then why are you crying? Ravis instantly snapped back, calling him a complete idiot. It is just eye sweat, Shion reminded him. He literally warned him to order the mild flavor. But Ravis refused to quit, claiming a true demon never runs from hellfire. Right in the middle of this hilarious joke, the phone of his servant buzzed. The caller ID, said Jinji. Instantly, all the color drained from Shion's face. Our protagonist paused. Whoa, what is wrong with you? Ignoring the question, Shion frantically jumped up out of his seat. He mumbled some panicked excuse about an emergency and bailed. But Ravis is not blind. He definitely noticed his servant's hands trembling violently. Something dark was brewing. Cut to a super sketchy underground tattoo parlor. A guy was screaming in pure agony while a terrifying woman named G calmly told him to hold still. If he did not want to suffer, he should have paid his debts on time. Now he was just making her work overtime. Finishing her grim masterpiece, she smiled like a total psycho. All done, the ink settled perfectly, and your skin is just fabulous. She literally tattooed the word thief across his forehead. Right on cue, her lackey announced that the next victim had arrived. Xian was standing right there, shaking like a leaf. Ji glared at him. You took forever. Come over here and look at this trash on the couch. She physically grabbed the terrified kid's face, forcing him to lean over the sobbing man. Keep those eyes open. Look very closely. Do you understand what this is? The permanent brand of a thief. He skipped out on his debt, so he got utterly ruined. She slowly turned to Xian. So, what about you? Our little arrangement is still on track, right? Staring at that bloody forehead tattoo, Xian swallowed hard. His voice trembled uncontrollably. There are always mistakes. Smack. A brutal backhand sent him crashing to the floor. You think this is a joke, she snarled. She grabbed a buzzing tattoo gun, absolutely fed up. Meanwhile, her massive goons pinned his arms down. Zero escape. Snatching his wrist, she leaned in tight. Maybe she should ink a permanent reminder right on his skin. Pure panic mode. He begged for mercy, but she totally shut it down. Listen, close, this was his absolute last warning. He definitely didn't want to end up like the last guy. Best to just shut up, obey, and get the job done right. Cut to Xian's room. He sat paralyzed at his desk, hands literally shaking over the keyboard. Was finishing this sketchy project really a smart move? He forced his shaking wrists steady. Backing out now. Oh, that would end absolutely horribly for him. Deep breath. Back to work. Meanwhile, Ravis was fighting a losing battle against terrible indigestion, rolling around in bed, kicking the air like a child, praying for the stomach cramps to stop. Spicy food intolerance. Yeah, he officially gets it now. His stomach felt like an active volcano and his body like it got hit by a truck. One tiny little brawl earlier and his weak shoulders were absolutely screaming. Enough was enough. Off came the shirt. Push-up time. The great Ravis Vindica wasn't about to get defeated by a pathetic human digestive system. No way. He had to upgrade this absolute trash-tier physical vessel. No pain, no gain. Anyway, fast forward to the next morning. Xian was back at school. Staring at the flash drive in his palm, he knew this program was way too sketchy. Just remembering her psychotic threats made him sweat bullets. What was his next move? Cue our main character, walking up. A casual hand on the shoulder, Xian practically jumped out of his skin, screaming out loud. Ravis was totally clueless. Why the panic, man? Looking up at him, a sudden light bulb went off. Could Minho possibly help him out of this huge mess? No, scratch that. Terrible idea. Minho was cool now, sure. But picking a fight with her gang, that was a straight-up suicide mission. He couldn't drag his friend down. While Ravis was trying to read the kid's mind, a random girl named Suni walked past. But wait. What was that incredibly familiar scent? Out of nowhere, bam, she completely blacked out, face-planting right onto the hard floor. Xian rushed over in an absolute panic to check on her. He quickly rolled her onto her side. But dude, she was totally smiling, just drooling with a broken nose, completely out of her mind. He freaked out and backed away fast. Then the really creepy stuff started. Full-blown convulsions. Our demon boy instantly sensed it. A dark demonic aura. Wait, coming from a normal human high schooler, how? A teacher sprinted over, demanding to know what happened, but got absolutely zero response from the twitching girl. Hauling her onto his back, he dashed for the clinic. As they passed, Ravis caught a glimpse of her arm. A tattoo. The Hilt family crest. A noble demon mark on a mortal. Oh, he definitely had to investigate this little mystery tonight. Fast forward to evening. He tracked her down at the hospital. But right outside her door, a lady cop playing security guard, totally blocking his path. Are you her friend? She needs total rest. Absolutely no visitors allowed right now. Direct eye contact. That was all it took. He flashed a quick mind wipe spell and boom, her eyes completely glazed over. She stood there like a statue, totally ignoring him. Slipping inside the hospital room, he just smirked. Even with his currently trash-tier magic reserves, basic mind control was still absolute child's play. Well, at least for a few minutes anyway. Click. The door shut. Suni glared at him from the bed, clearly annoyed. Who the hell are you? She snapped. He didn't miss a single beat. No, who are you? She looked completely confused and instantly started throwing a loud fit about him trespassing in her private hospital room. He wasn't playing games. He snatched her wrist violently, yanking her close. She shrieked in pain, but his eyes were locked dead on that demonic ink. How dare a pathetic mortal like her sport the noble crest of the Hilt family? She called him completely crazy, but his aura shifted. Super dark. He warned her, spill the truth right now or things would get incredibly ugly. Who was she working for? His piercing glare had her sweating buckets, absolutely terrified. Wait, did she just see a horned shadow behind him? A demon? She froze up, mumbling total nonsense in pure shock. Speak clearly, he barked. That definitely didn't help her nerves at all. Trembling, she frantically swore she had zero clue what the tattoo actually meant. Jae-hee made her get it as an initiation rite for their gang. In exchange, a promise of some very special diet pills. Sketchy much. Click. The puzzle pieces connected. Ravis recognized that faint scent instantly. He had definitely smelled it back in the demon world years ago. Flashback time, little Ravis and Bonet sneaking deep into a mysterious tower. Where are we going? Bonet nervously whimpered. This is totally restricted. Little Ravis just smirked, calling his friend a massive coward. That hit a nerve. I am not scared. Bonet yelled back, instantly triggered. He just really didn't want to get punished. Ravis just shrugged hands behind his head. Then go home, man. But classic Bonet, he hesitated. Leaving his friend alone wasn't an option either. Honestly, leaving this guy alone, terrible idea. Our boy glanced back, completely exhausted, wondering just how much longer this endless walk would take. Down they went deeper into the creepy corridor. Cue the awkward silence. A few minutes pass before Bonnie finally breaks it, asking if he knew the truth. Ravis completely clueless. But hey, if someone just spilled the beans, he would finally be in the loop. Bonnie cleared his throat. Being in this pitch-black darkness triggered a memory, a crazy legend about people with eyes that basically defied all logic and limits. Apparently these guys lose their sight in two extreme ways. Either a blindingly bright light fries their vision, or absolute darkness just rots their eyes away from pure boredom. Kind of like right here. But suddenly, our main character hissed. Total silence right now. He froze right at the entrance of this massive hall. His instincts screaming something was definitely lurking ahead. Dead center of the room, a literal corpse totally covered in flowers. Bonnie instantly panicked. Yo, what the actual hell is that? But Ravis, absolute madman. He just walked right up to investigate while Bonnie frantically warned him it was a massive trap. Still, Bonnie nervously trailed behind. They got a good look at the body, and Bonnie's jaw dropped. Wait, is not that Jeremy Hilt? Our main character took one look. Yep, this idiot was totally gone. But honestly, it was the flowers that really caught his eye. Dude, they were literally sprouting from the corpse. Ravis just reached out to pluck one. Bonnie screamed not to touch it, but too late. He yanked that thing out, roots and all. Instantly, the most absolutely disgusting stench hit them. Bonnie practically cowered behind his back. Then things got gross. The roots started squirming, like actually moving. Ravis could not believe it. No way. These were literal devouring flowers. It clicked. Ravis remembered smelling this exact scent on that girl earlier. Meanwhile, Bonnie was literally shaking, begging to just get out. Our main character casually glanced out the window. And get this, a literal bat was hanging on a branch, just staring at him. Its mysterious master smirked, knowing their paths would cross soon. He was completely ready. Cut to later. Ravis, rolling up to a tattoo parlor. Pausing at the door, the math started mathing in his head. The Hilt family ink, plus those flesh-eating flowers. Yeah, no such thing as coincidences. Meanwhile, some sketchy thugs were strutting through a basement. Their main topic, Xion. Why was the boss Youngmoo so obsessed with a random high schooler? Someone chimed in, it is not the kid he wants, it is his crazy app. One thug casually pulled out a weird candy, wondering if they use tech like this too. The others froze. Wait, is that a blue bow? That is Youngmoo's highly dangerous new creation. One guy instantly panicked, telling him to stop eating it. Did he forget what happened to Ju-sun yesterday? It is a prototype. The side effects are probably absolutely insane. But the idiot, he did not care. All that mattered was the crazy rush he was feeling. And right on cue, our main character casually strolled out from around the corner. He took one look at these clowns. Yep, that exact same nasty stench, and there it was, the Hilt family symbol. They stopped dead. Ravis just asked if Jinji gave them those tattoos too. The candy-eating thug scoffed, called him an absolute moron, and asked if he was her buddy. The thug disrespectfully patted his cheek, telling him to show some manners to his seniors. Oh, big mistake. Ravis was pissed. He slapped the guy's hand away, zero hesitation. Then bam, one clean punch to the face, knocking the thug out cold. As he hit the floor, his buddies absolutely lost it. Who sent you one? Screamed. His answer, Ravis just punched him square in the jaw. The hit sent him flying. Another thug lost his mind, screaming curses as he charged. He swung wild and missed, but our main character, pinpoint accuracy. Down he went screaming in pain. The last guy whipped out a knife and lunged right at Ravis. Ravis just spun around and delivered a brutal full-power kick straight to his head. Where is Jinji? He demanded. But plot twist, the first guy was already waking up. He stumbled up, threatening murder. But something was horribly wrong. He looked completely feral, eyes literally bulging out, drool pouring down his chin. Ravis was genuinely caught off guard. Had the demonic energy actually leveled up this much? The beast leaped at him. Even his speed was entirely different now. Did that weird blue candy literally supercharge his raw physical stats? Ravis tried to dodge, but classic bad luck, he tripped over a body and crashed down. The absolute madman dived at him, winding up a massive punch. Ravis cursed out loud. Scene change. Jinji was standing before her terrifying boss, nervously confessing that the app still was not finished. She apologized, absolutely shaking. Her crew quickly stepped in, swearing they had explained the instructions perfectly this time, so the release was totally imminent. Youngmu just rubbed his temples, completely exhausted. You said that exact same thing last time. Plus, they had just caught the guy stealing his precious blue bows. Next to Jinji were guys stripped completely naked, pure humiliation. The thief frantically started shifting the blame. He was literally sobbing, begging for just one more chance, swearing he would never mess up again. But Youngmu, total silence. He just stared at the blue flowers on the table, grabbed a stem, and walked over. The thief looked up, absolute terror in his eyes. When he realized what the boss was holding, he lost his mind, screaming and thrashing wildly for mercy. No hesitation. Youngmu swung his arm down, plunging the razor-sharp flower stem directly into the guy's eye socket. Instant, horrifying silence. A single tear rolled down his face. Just a weak, pathetic wheeze. Jinji was absolutely paralyzed with fear. The thief weakly begged again, but Youngmu, he was not stopping anytime soon. Another brutal swing. A sickening thud. Blood instantly painted the floor as the guy crumpled, absolutely howling in pure agony. Just brutal. Younglu dropped an ice-cold warning. 0 second chances here. Everyone present needed to understand that perfectly. He locked eyes with Ji, demanding if he was right. She gulped nervously. He ordered her to cut the chatter and just bring what he needed. Afraid to even look at him, she stared away and quietly mumbled that she understood everything perfectly. The second she got outside, complete panic mode. She frantically called Xion over and over, but dead silence. He wasn't answering. Meanwhile, our guy was just chilling at his computer. Seeing the caller ID flash, he finally paused his typing to pick up. It was actually Ravis on the line. He admitted he tried handling things solo, but the local thugs absolutely refused to talk. Xion was totally confused. Then Ravis dropped Jingji's name. Instant panic. Xion's heart dropped, frantically demanding how Ravis even knew her. Ravis casually replied he just saw her name on a screen. Then he dropped the heavy question, where exactly does she live? Xion panicked. Why look for her? Did those absolute idiots actually drag Ravis into this massive mess too? Ravis kept calm. Nope. He contacted her himself. He just had a certain detail he desperately needed to double-check. Cut to Ravis standing right inside Jingji's tattoo parlor, but she was totally missing. Instead, just a random cat sitting on the stairs. The cat visibly jumped at his stare. Back home, Xion practically scrambled for his jacket, bolting out screaming not to touch anything. I will be right there. Click. Xion hung up instantly, totally cutting Ravis off without another single word. Left hanging, Ravis just stared at this feline. And honestly, it acted weird. Like it was badly impersonating a normal house cat. He marched up, grabbed it by the scruff, and asked if it understood him. It fake meowed, so he sternly demanded a real answer. Boom. The poor animal got so absolutely terrified that it instantly blurted out human words, and just like that, interrogation time started. Ravis pieced it together. First a rat, then yesterday a bat, and today you are playing the cat. Spilling everything, she confessed she was a demon world observer. Her whole job, covertly watching the prisoner. That is why she stalked him. Our hero narrowed his eyes. Her demonic energy, incredibly weak. Was this tiny furball seriously a real actual demon? Shocked, she asked how he blew her cover. His deadpan response, you stand out. You are literally standing on your hind legs right now. Ravis just sighed. Yeah, asking this clumsy spy any more questions was completely pointless, so he busted out some magic. He commanded her actual boss to show up. Her eyes rolled back, and elsewhere Banbei smirked. Banbei praised his quick guess. Our guy was completely unamused. He irritably called him an idiot. Was this his doing again? The possessed cat chuckled. Why the sudden hostility? Is that how you greet an old friend? Knowing this guy, he wondered what sketchy scheme he was plotting. But Banbei played innocent, pretending he knew absolutely nothing. Ravis realized interrogating him was totally useless. He sighed heavily, pivoting to a new topic. Things are completely different from what I remember. Can prisoners actually use magic in the human world? Banbei's vague reply. Exceptions exist everywhere. You will figure it out soon enough. Dodging the issue, Banbei asked for other questions. The mood shifted. The devouring flower, our hero stated. I smelled it. That sickening scent is way too strong here. It is the exact same stench I remember from back then. That plant is banned back in the demon world. Why is it here? Banbei admitted even demon officials knew the hilt creatures infiltrated Earth. Those absolute scumbags. Turns out, they were way too stubborn to actually be wiped out for good. Annoyed, our guy gritted his teeth. So the Hilt family is pulling strings again, and their demonic powers still work here. Banbei laughed darkly. He declared that the human world he remembered just does not exist anymore. It is a breeding ground for conspiracies now, and your timing, perfect. He dumped it on him. Our hero was dumbfounded. Talking about what? What else actually happened, but… absolute silence. Banbei was gone. The magical connection broke the second the cat snapped back to reality. He glared at the confused furball and cursed. Meanwhile, Ji was still desperately trying to call Xian. Every single second counts, she panicked. Furious he was ignoring her, she aggressively dialed another number, declaring Xian a dead man. Her new target was a guy named Sung Jun. He was currently hanging out at a local computer club, completely oblivious. He picked up. She immediately barked at him to rush to the office. Time to go hunt down that total idiot Xian. Cutting back, Ravis stared at the cat. Since you are an official watcher, you must know this world well. She proudly confirmed it. Tracking down rogue prisoners requires nonstop searching, so she constantly gets fresh intel. Honestly, her tracking skills are absolutely top tier. Cool, he ordered. Take your true form. She hesitated, clearly flustered, so he dropped his voice. Or should I force it out of you? Terrified, she frantically agreed to do it herself. She sat up, pressed her little paws together, and suddenly, blinding magical light erupted. The bright flash faded, and an absolutely stunning demoness appeared. She stood in front of Ravs, flashing a bright smile. His reaction, you look way too weak. But hey, if Bombay sent her, she had to be useful. So what's her name? She awkwardly looked down. Turns out she didn't even have a name. Our main character, zero hesitation. He instantly dubbed her Street. Why? Because he picked her up on the literal street. Classic logic. And the funniest part, she absolutely loved it. Her mood completely skyrocketed, thanking him like it was the greatest gift ever. But playtime was over. He demanded every detail about the human world. Meanwhile, cut to Xian sprinting for his absolute life. Pure panic. He was in deep trouble and desperately needed to survive this mess. Flashback time. He remembered leaving the app developer competition. Our boy just won first place and was totally thrilled until some super shady people blocked his path. Their boss G smirked. Isn't that the developer who just won the contest? 5 million won prize. She actually laughed out loud at that pocket change. Snapping her fingers, she ordered her goons to grab him. Xian screamed in absolute terror as they tossed him into a van. Cut to the big boss, Youngmu. Xian sat there trembling. The boss just smirked. Why so scared, kid? This is just business. He pointed to the empty chair. Boom. 50 million won cold hard cash. The catch hand over his winning app. But Xian actually refused. Not for sale, he bravely declared. That wasn't his goal. Youngmu just stared at him. Yeah, we'll see about that. Those quiet words completely terrified our developer. Which brings us back to the present. He was running like crazy, praying he wouldn't get caught again. Wham. He slammed straight into a massive wall of muscle. He started stammering out an apology, but then he looked up and his blood ran cold. It was Sejun. The giant chuckled. Didn't expect this. We didn't even have to hunt you down. You just delivered yourself. Xian turned his head and there she was. Gee. She was absolutely furious, promising him he was completely finished. Yeah, game totally over. Fast forward, they threw him straight into a dark basement. G made the rules clear, sit at the desk and run the app. Unless he wanted to rot in this dungeon forever, he better not mess up. He panicked, begging her to hold on, but she just glared. They were watching every single keystroke. One funny move, he'd regret it. Bam! She slammed the heavy door shut. Trapped in a dingy computer room with a scary guard breathing down his neck, complete nightmare fuel. Outside, the villains watched him through the glass. Sejun scoffed. Is this kid really a genius developer? He types like a turtle. G sighed. Boss's orders. They absolutely couldn't sell their mysterious product, the Blue Bow, without this kid's software. The brute raised an eyebrow. His app is literally called I'm Here. How the heck do we sell anything with that? What a dumb name. Inside the room, the guard shoved Xian into the chair, smacking the back of his head to get moving. Trembling, our guy booted up the program. A cute logo popped up, classic dating and friend-finding app. Just then, the big boss Youngmu stepped up, demanding a status update. This little program, the absolute core of their sketchy Blue Bow empire. Step 1, harvest all customer data. Once they have that, total market domination. That sweet geolocation tracking feature was going to be their ultimate weapon for explosive sales. Sejun grinned like a maniac. Finally, they could start flooding the streets with massive shipments of their Blue Bow product. Youngmu stared intensely at the strange little candy in his palm. Oh yeah, time to unleash this absolute madness onto the world. Next morning, absolute chaos. The app went viral instantly. Why? Because they threw out a massive 30,000 won cash bounty for every referral. Every single student downloaded it. Free money, right? It got so crazy that kids were literally forcing their classmates to install the thing. Oh, and the bonus prize, a totally free weight loss supplement known as the Blue Bow. The app promised it was heavily certified. Total lie, obviously. By nightfall, Youngmu's entire criminal crew was celebrating their massive scam. Ji pulled out her phone to check the daily download stats. Seeing the numbers skyrocket, she smirked. Everything was going perfectly according to plan. Sejun chuckled. Their boss was an absolute genius. But Ji, she looked around her ruined headquarters and angrily asked if they'd caught the punk who trashed the place. The lackey sweated nervously. He checked the security footage, but a literal bat blocked it. A bat. She raised an eyebrow, thinking he was crazy, and checked the screen. Nope, he wasn't lying. An actual bat. Staring dead into the lens, totally blocking the shot. Even weirder, the other cameras were entirely covered by a giant rat. Ji cursed out loud. How was that even physically possible? Suddenly, Sejun's phone buzzed. He read the text and told her to gear up. The massive shipment of blue bows just dropped. Meanwhile, our main guy, Ravs, was casually walking home from school. He stared deadpan at Street, who was currently trying to squeeze through a tiny wall hole in her animal form. Are you stuck? She instantly apologized, poofing back into her actual humanoid form while muttering about gaining weight. Classic comedy. Ravs ignored it, demanding an update on yesterday's mission. Sticking her chest out proudly, she bragged about gathering all the intel. Remember those sketchy candies he was so curious about yesterday? He sniffed them earlier because they smelled exactly like a demonic devouring flower. And crazy enough, he woke up right after eating one. But here's the absolute kicker. Devouring flowers need a human host to grow. Plus, they went completely extinct ages ago, even in the demon realm. So how did humans get their hands on it? Street dropped the bombshell that creepy candy is officially called the blue bow. So get this, they push this absolute garbage to humans, pretending it is just normal diet pills and vitamins. Our guy demands the ingredient list. But she admits this blue bow stuff is kept ridiculously top secret. Nobody knows what is actually in it or even where it comes from. Visibly annoyed, he snaps. So she literally found out nothing. Panicking, she waves her hands, practically yelling that she definitely found a clue. These sketchy candies were selling like crazy, and with that much product out there, just follow the trail of demonic energy straight back to the source. Easy. He taps her forehead. Why didn't she just go there immediately? She awkwardly mumbles her excuse. Bambi gave strict orders to stick by his side. Hold up. He narrows his eyes. Is she seriously snitching about his every move? Cue the frantic apologies. She is just a low-ranking minion with no choice but to obey both bosses. Time to make a choice. Right here, right now. Him or Bambi, who is her actual master. She freezes up, totally conflicted. That is when our boy drops a massive bribe. Pick him and he will upgrade her from a lowly lesser demon. Suddenly, acting all fancy and noble, she drops into a deep bow and swears absolute loyalty to him. Smirking like a total villain, he reaches out his hand. Deal. She is officially his personal servant now. Bam. The second his magic links with hers, Bambi loses his connection completely. Flashing a ridiculously smug grin, our main character kicks him out. Next stop, the secret Blue Bow factory. Under the cover of total darkness, of course. They sneak up to this massive warehouse. Street points it out. Yep, this is the jackpot. The demonic energy here is off the charts. He tells her to pop open a shipping container, but no luck. Every single one is tightly secured with heavy chains and massive locks. Time for pure brute force. One punch completely shatters the heavy chains. But the moment those doors swing open, holy hell, the smell is absolutely putrid. It is completely packed with foul-smelling boxes. Street literally gags, asking if all of this garbage is the Blue Bow. There are dozens more containers just like it. Seeing this triggers a major flashback to an epic clash with his uncle. Back in the day, Varen backed him right onto a sheer cliff edge. He mocked his arrogant, bratty nephew, calling him a pathetic weakling. Ravis fired back, calling him a piece of trash. So his uncle casually drops the hammer. If he will not obey, he can just go die. A massive punch gets thrown, but Varen easily blocks and catches the strike, flashing a completely mocking smirk. Just like that, our guy is launched several meters over the cliff edge. Tumbling down into the dark abyss, he screams absolute murder at his uncle. Varen just laughs maniacally. Is this how you plan to die? Then he actually jumps after him. Finally hitting the ground, Ravis writhes around his back, screaming in pure agony. Then Varen casually touches down beside him. Are you dead yet? He asks, completely sarcastic. But he freezes mid-sentence, noticing something weird. Following his stare, our hero freezes. Demon corpses. Dozens of them completely swallowed up by creepy flowers. His uncle sighs heavily, so this is their hiding spot. Staring at this twisted garden, Ravis remembers the ancient lore of how the human world formed. When light and darkness split, they became total opposites, completely incompatible. But from that messy gray area between them, independent, freakish life forms started sprouting up. At the absolute dawn of creation, a terrifying flower took root exactly where fallen gods and mangled demons piled up. These flesh-eating plants had one single goal: complete world annihilation. So naturally, uncle and nephew teamed up to burn the bodies and flowers to ashes. The main character is stunned. He was absolutely sure they burned everything to the ground back then. Street chimes in super confused. She heard the demon overlord personally hunted down and wiped out every single seed. So how are there so many here? Ravis explains that this bizarre flower actually originated in the human world first. Earth is the ultimate middle ground, a chaotic cocktail of pure light and total darkness. It belongs to nobody, but it is literally the open crossroads to everywhere. According to all the ancient human myths he read, humans supposedly exterminated these things thousands of years ago. Yeah, huge lie apparently. If these things are suddenly popping up in both worlds simultaneously, that means somebody deliberately needs them. Street suddenly pauses, noticing something. Bam, a blinding flashlight hits them, making both of them whip around instantly. Some guy sneers. He was wondering who was whispering in the dark. Do they even know whose turf they are on? Squinting at our main character, the guy gets excited. He yells for G. It is that exact same idiot who wrecked their tattoo shop. Street recognizes them. Pointing straight at the girl, Street warns Ravis that is G. G looks totally pissed off and screams, "Who the hell does this guy think he is? Seriously, why destroy her salon, and how did he even track them down?" Ravis ignores the rant, asking if she is running this messy operation. She spits a nasty curse. Yeah, she runs it. So what? Unfazed, he throws the real question. Does she even know what these pills are made of? Flashing a completely wicked grin, she asks if he is trying to steal their top secret formula. Ravis just sighs. It is not like he genuinely cares. It is just leaving this mess running feels incredibly uneasy. G turns to her thugs. If they screw this up, they know Young Mu will destroy them, right? She pulls out special combat rations from her pocket's pure blue bows. The goons instantly hype up, asking if they seriously get them for free. She strictly orders them to just shut up and eat. While these goons were literally stuffing their faces with those sketchy candies, our boy told Street to duck and cover, like right now. Because honestly, she'd just be in the way. And yeah, she bolted straight for the shipping container. Meanwhile, the blue bow candies kicked in. Hard. These guys completely lost their minds to the rage. G just pointed right at Ravis. Her order: end him. Right this second. Rappers hit the floor. The mob charged like wild animals. Ravis. He just smirked. Absolute idiots. They were so drunk on their own fake power, they had zero clue who they were actually messing with. He just casually gestured for them to bring it on. The demonic energy in the air, suffocating. Knife guy makes the first move, lunging straight for his throat. Dodge, counter, boom. No time to breathe. Another thug came flying in out of nowhere, landing a solid kick. Ravis shook it off, sidestepped the next swing, and delivered a devastating uppercut right to the jaw. Good night. He spun around for the next target, but grabbed from behind, locked in tight. Our guy couldn't shake him. A quick curse slipped out. The attacker let out this literal animal roar, suplexing Ravis right into the dirt. Ouch. And then, the absolute tank of the group came in with a flying knee strike. Brutal. Street was watching from hiding, absolutely panicking, while G loving every single second of the show. These crazed maniacs were just laughing, piling on him with a storm of fists. Ravis blocked what he could, realizing, okay, these guys actually hit like trucks. Wait a minute. Did they down a heavier dose of that garbage candy than the last crew? Lightbulb moment. He spotted the cargo, smashed his fist right through one of the wooden crates, ripped out a massive bag of powder, and whoosh, a blinding cloud straight into their faces. Instant chaos. Coughing, choking, absolute panic. Ravis caught a whiff of the stuff too and instantly gagged. The smell absolutely revolting. But here is the crazy part. That concentrated evil powder, it made the demonic energy in the air react even more violently. The second those thugs stopped rubbing their eyes, our main character was already moving. Full speed. He tackled the first guy straight into the concrete. One brutal right hook to the face. Then ducking a sloppy swing from idiot number 2, he grabbed the guy's leg and slammed him down hard. A quick stomp to the knee joint. Snap, yeah, that is definitely broken. But no rest for the wicked. The absolute giant of the group was already airborne, aiming right for him. Reflexes kicking in, Ravis intercepted with a kick, vaulted right over the behemoth, grabbed his massive shoulders, and used the guy's own momentum to slam him flat on his back. Physics, people. G's jaw, on the floor. Taking out that whole squad of supercharged goons completely solo impossible. When Ravis slowly stood up, she literally jumped back. He locked eyes with her. Cold. Deadly. Total predator gaze. She totally panicked, screaming like a banshee. And speaking of drama, meanwhile at a high-stakes ballet competition, a girl named Yura just stepped onto the stage. Back at her lavish mansion, her mother Yanju was glued to the television broadcast. Bragging to the empty room, Mom was certain her daughter's pure talent would guarantee her a spot in the elite Venus ballet troupe. Guaranteed. Suddenly the doors swing open. Young Mu and his shady assistant stroll right in, treating her like their favorite VIP. Mom is absolutely furious, like who do these peasants think they are? Barging into a rich lady's house, bold move. But instead of apologizing, the man just calmly placed a glass jar of candies right on her designer table. Youngmoo smiled that creepy smile. He mentioned a massive order for the Blue Bow candies, so hey, personal delivery service. She stared at the jar, her anger turning to shock. The exact same candies. Youngmoo just chuckled, asking why she looked so incredibly stressed. He promised they had airtight control over the whole operation, factory to front door. But Mom wasn't buying it. Are you completely sure this is safe? She demanded. Oh, the irony. He just smirked. Little late to play the caring mother now, right? Not after she literally force-fed her own kid those enhancement drugs before sending her on live television. Yeonju's eyes darted back to the screen. Yura was out there completely hopped up on the candy, spinning like a literal tornado and pulling off impossible moves. But she kept going faster and faster. The mother's pride turned to pure panic as she noticed something horrifying. Her daughter was drooling, eyes rolling straight to the back of her head, limbs trembling violently. Youngmoo casually leaned in, noting that Mom clearly pushed the dosage way over the limit. Just how many of those things did she make her eat? On screen, Yura completely froze mid-spin, balancing on one leg. Mom leaped up, screaming at the TV, begging her to stop, like the kid could even hear her in that state. And then, crack. Her supporting leg just twisted in a way legs are definitely not supposed to bend. She hit the floor like a sack of bricks. Dead still, not a single twitch. The crowd went into absolute hysterics as security guards flooded the stage. Yeonju absolutely broke down, screaming her lungs out at Youngmoo. He promised 0 side effects, he swore. His response, ice cold. He meant no side effects if you actually followed the instructions. Now her daughter is completely past the point of no return. The only way the kid even survives now is if she keeps popping those candies to feed her shattered mind. The mother stared at the jar in absolute terror. Youngmoo cheerfully explained her daughter was now a lifelong addict. But before he could even finish, Yeonju just grabbed her hair, screaming in total despair. Did he even care about the fortune she dumped into this? Youngmoo just gave a satisfied little smirk, then ring ring, saved by the bell. Video call from G. He picked up, casually asking what is up. But instead of her usual attitude, G looked absolutely terrified and started stammering apologies. Suddenly, Ravis hijacked the camera frame. He looked right into the lens. So you are the guy cooking up the blue bows. Youngmoo's eyes went wide, demanding to know who this guy was. Ravis just smirked. Yep, found the boss. Time for a face-to-face. Click. The call dropped. Youngmoo's smug attitude vanished instantly. He gave the crying mother a quick nod. Sorry, real business just came up. Back at the fight scene, Street finally crawled out of hiding. Looking at the knocked-out thugs, she asked the real question. Why do people even swallow this literal poison? Our main character did not even hesitate. Because they are absolute morons, pure arrogance. They always think they are built different, that they can try it just once without getting addicted. Empty lives 0 purpose, so they chase that temporary fake power. Pretty pathetic, right? Street spotted something and frantically pointed back. Jae-hee instantly hyped up, shouting for Youngmoo and cue the dramatic entrance. He stepped out of the woods, goons in tow, straight up asking if our guy wrecked that tattoo parlor. Was he looking for a fight, Ravis? Honestly, he couldn't care less. But Youngmoo only cared about one thing. Where'd he get that power? No way some pathetic little human snagged that. Hold up. Little human Youngmoo's eyes totally bugged out. Was this arrogant punk actually exactly like him? Flashback time. Youngmoo grew up with a total deadbeat dad. A junkie who actually dragged his own kid into the addiction. One night, Youngmoo nudged the old man. Hey, you awake? Come on. Hand over another hit of that stuff. Silence. So he kicked the guy, flipping him right onto his back. Blank stare. Glassy eyes. Wait, did the old man actually just kick the bucket? Absolutely furious, he started cursing. Typical, lived like trash, died like trash. But the real tragedy, where the heck was he supposed to get his fix now? Cue the total meltdown, stomping the corpse, screaming his lungs out. But then, the dead eyes literally glowed. Yeah, that killed the mood. He froze completely, backing away in pure terror. Creepy horror movie vibes. The corpse slowly stood up. It straight up said, Dad's dead. I just hijacked the meat suit. Then this demon actually had the nerve to ask, are you sad he's gone? Youngmoo just stared, brain completely buffering. The demon offered a deal. If he was crying over daddy, he could revive him. But Youngmoo, he just flashed this insane twisted grin. Sad, not even slightly, that piece of garbage was finally gone. He just wanted his fix. The demon loved that answer. Handing over this weird, creepy flower, it gave one simple instruction. Feed the corpse to the plant. Boom. Contract sealed. He'd get all the power and junk he ever craved. The catch, if anyone betrayed them or rejected the flower's power, slaughter them without mercy. The contract guaranteed absolute protection. Youngmoo didn't even hesitate. Looking at that bloom with pure, unhinged madness, he slammed it right into his own father's chest. Back to the present, Youngmoo sneered. Pathetic little human, huh? Our main character instantly realized this clown was hiding a serious trump card. The villain bragged hard, saying a divine being literally reborn him. Ravis just rolled his eyes. Wow, a demon contract. So original. Our boy cracked his wrists. Listen, whatever garbage cult you joined, doesn't matter. It sucks to be you, and it sucks to be your boss. Oh, that struck a nerve. How dare you disrespect me? He ordered his goons to grab the kid. Meanwhile, Street, she hilariously bolted out of there, clearing the stage for her master. Honestly, Ravis was getting super annoyed with these trash mobs. Time to speedrun this. Cut to Hyuna frantically rushing her daughter via ambulance. Kids everywhere were buying tainted candy from sketchy couriers. Things were already spiraling totally out of control. The moment that sketchy app dropped orders absolutely exploded. The Blue Bow Syndicate was practically going viral. Sunjun gloated about securing VIP addicts nationwide. Hearing this, his greedy buddy was literally asking if they were about to become some massive, unstoppable global monopoly. Apparently, Young Moo was already expanding the poison into China and Japan. Sunjun was practically fanboying over how awesome he was. While those idiots celebrated, Xian desperately tracked the app's growth. Total guilt was eating him alive inside. This absolute nightmare was spreading like wildfire everywhere, and he was just desperately praying for a hero to smash it. Back at the fight, Ravis casually destroyed the henchman. Jae-hee totally panicked, screaming he wasn't human. Our protagonist asked when the boss would show. Young Moo stayed perfectly quiet, remembering his dark pact. Kill the non-believers. Execute anyone who rejects the flower's power. Popping 3 sketchy candies into his hand, he silently swore to Lord Bavar Hilt he would murder this kid right now. Jae-hee was totally freaking out now. Clearly this wasn't some random high schooler, a rival gang member. Maybe Ravis just gave her this utterly baffled look. Suddenly, whoosh, Young Moo blitzed him, but our guy casually spun around, completely blocking the strike effortlessly. A furious barrage of punches rained down, getting blocked instantly. Okay, credit where it's due, this guy was leagues faster than the earlier trash. Young Moo was absolutely stunned. How are you dodging me? Did he get the dark blessing too? Unacceptable. That demon was his personal god and nobody else's. Click. Everything finally made sense to the MC. The gross flower, that nasty rotting smell, his so-called deity was just Bavar Hilt. The villain was shocked, he knew the name. But Ravis just scoffed. Out of all the demons out there, you actually worship that absolute loser. Cue the villain throwing a massive tantrum. Don't you dare mock the savior who rescued me. Ravis just smirked. That rat literally hid everywhere like a coward and you worship him. Young Moo completely lost his mind, screaming at him to shut up. How dare you speak his absolute sacred name? The attacks instantly turned into complete chaos, just wild, desperate, incredibly frenzied swings, trying to connect. While effortlessly deflecting every single hit, Ravis thought back. Bavar Hilt moved up, huh? Back when Ravis wiped out their entire demon race, that rat somehow survived. The guy ran away crying and now he's out here playing God. Hilarious. Seriously, where is that coward hiding? Young Moo just kept screaming, foaming at the mouth. Will you stop disrespecting him? The guy lunged with a nasty growl. Our main character instantly covered his nose, the stench hitting him, absolutely rancid. Then Young Moo went completely feral. He leaped right at him, screaming that anyone disrespecting his precious Lord Bavor was getting a one-way ticket to the afterlife. Bam! He grabbed his head, slammed a brutal knee straight into his gut, and just effortlessly launched him overhead. He pinned him down hard. Total lockdown. Ravis gritted his teeth through the blinding pain, desperately throwing up his arms to block the incoming barrage of fists. Strike after strike, Young Moo kept howling about how the Blue Bows and Lord Bavor were entirely his. Our guy realized quickly this idiot was completely brain-rotted by demonic energy. He was actually going for the kill here. Screaming at the top of his lungs, Young Moo unleashed another massive strike, his eye glowing with chaotic power. Meanwhile, Suri was watching from hiding, absolutely terrified for Ravis. Why? Because this fragile human body of his had already hit its absolute breaking point. If they were back in the demon world, if he had his real powers, this fight would be over in 2 seconds flat. Cut to his uncle and friend casually spectating this whole mess. Banbei noted that the crazed test subject who devoured the flower had fully mutated. Now, even though Ravis had the demonic bloodstone keeping him somewhat capable in that puny human vessel, Banbei honestly thought he could handle this freak. But looking at him now, yeah, our boy might actually bite the dust here, which means his soul would be totally wiped out. But Varkan just smiled. He casually turned and asked what his nephew hated more than anything. Banbei sweat dropped. The guy literally hates everything, so narrowing it down to just one thing was basically impossible. Let's be real, Ravis has an awful personality. Wonder who he got that from. Varkan definitely caught that subtle shade and awkwardly looked away. Then the demon uncle dropped the real secret. Dirt. Ravis has extreme germophobia. He absolutely despises anything filthy. And right on cue, our main character furiously blocked Young Moo's incoming fist, complaining that the environment was just way too dirty. The mutated guy was totally confused, but Ravis just snapped. He screamed that he absolutely loathed the disgusting unwashed smell rolling off this garbage opponent. Clenching his fist with pure rage, he shoved the guy back. Ravis slowly stood up. He realized that even though it was just his left hand working, it finally felt like his true power again. He glared at his enemy. Young Mu froze, suddenly terrified, as Ravis announced he literally could not stand, touching his filthy body for one more second. So, time to end this fast. He blitzed forward, landing a brutal, face-shattering punch. Snap, his head jerked violently backward. Young Mu was completely stunned. Where on earth did this frail kid suddenly get monster-level strength? Suri was practically cheering from the sidelines. Our guy coldly reminded the freak he wasn't human, then delivered another massive blow that sent him flying backward. Suri shrieked while Young Mu scrambled up, spitting curses and screaming to know who the hell he actually was. Ravis closed the distance instantly. He ordered him to shut that filthy mouth, then launched a massive uppercut that sent the guy literally flying into the air. Bombay was speechless. Varkan just laughed, explaining that Ravis probably got a massive migraine from the sheer stench the moment this test subject woke up. That nasty smell alone made him refuse to get close earlier. Because remember, our demon boy hates dirt more than absolutely anything else. Triggering his severe germophobia actually forced a temporary awakening. It let him tap into a fraction of his true demonic power. Banbei couldn't believe it. Was he seriously wielding his old demonic strength while trapped inside a regular human body? Even with that demon blood, stone-equipped channeling raw underworld magic through a frail sinner's vessel was supposed to be completely impossible. Varkan just gave a proud smirk. Ravis was no ordinary guy. Say what you want, but the kid still shared his elite bloodline. Bam! Another brutal strike sent Young Mu crashing spine first into the powder crates. Ravis coldly mentioned that this loser should consider himself extremely lucky. Why? Because in this human state, he literally couldn't kill him, even if he wanted to. Young Mu was stunned, screaming that this was impossible. How was he, someone personally blessed by Lord Bavor, getting absolutely bullied right now? Desperate to strike back, his hand wildly grabbed at the crate. A twisted smile crept across his face. He could just consume more power. He frantically tried to smash the container open. But nope, our guy instantly snapped his wrist back, warning him not to be stupid. He'd beat him just short of death instead. Then absolute hype moment. Ravis shifted his stance, clamped his right hand over his left wrist to double the force and lunged. Young Mu could only watch frozen. Boom! Ravis delivered an earth-shattering left hook using his other arm to amplify the pure kinetic impact before gracefully hopping back. The result, Young Mu's head was jammed straight into the wooden box. Lights out. He wasn't moving anymore. Letting out an exhausted sigh, our guy whipped out a clean pocket handkerchief. He covered his nose, muttering that the disgusting stench was finally fading a bit. Cut to Xion completely freaking out while staring at the app statistics. He never wanted things to go this far. High school is a trapped environment. Everyone is stuck in small classrooms, forced into pre-packaged social hierarchies just to survive. To get through without a target on your back, you constantly fake everything. Faking likes, faking hates, just blending into the background. His original goal, an app to connect lonely people who needed real friends. He didn't code this to sell sketchy garbage. So gathering his courage, he hit the kill switch and completely crashed the servers. Instant chaos. The shady guys guarding outside immediately noticed the massive network error. Panic mode activated. Xion leaped up, grabbed a heavy chair and fiercely jammed it against the door to barricade himself inside. Oh, Sunjun was not having it. He ordered his goons to check on our boy, and suddenly absolute chaos at the door. They started pounding on the glass, screaming at him to open up right now. But Xion completely laser-focused. He scrambled back to the computer to wipe that app from existence, while Sunjun practically lost his mind, yelling at his crew. Fingers flying, he opened the program, slammed that emergency button, and then smashed glass completely shattered. Sunjun just hurled a literal chair right through the window and swarmed the room with his gang. One of these punks instantly clocked our tech genius right in the face, screaming, "What the heck do you think you are doing?" While Xion was taking a beating, the other guys rushed the monitor. One look at the screen and they started panicking. This kid totally crashed their entire server. Pure panic mode activated. Sunjun screamed to stop the deletion because if their boss Youngmu found out about this mess, oh yeah, they were all dead meat. But his lackey was sweating bullets. He stared at the keyboard like it was alien technology, clueless on how to actually stop the wipe. Xion knew one thing: stall for time, no matter the cost. He desperately snatched a broken glass shard off the floor and slashed straight across the bully's leg. He didn't even wait for the reaction. He scrambled to his feet, bolted across the room, ripped a fire extinguisher off the wall, and yelled with everything he had. This was his creation. And then PSSSH. He completely flooded the room with thick white foam, total smokescreen. Nobody could see a thing, which bought him exactly the few seconds he needed for the deletion to hit 100%. But catching his breath, he made one crucial mistake. He looked away to check the monitor. Big mistake. Sunjun lunged through the fog, grabbed him right by the throat, and slammed him into the ground. Boiling with rage, he ordered his guys to find some rope to tie this kid down. The lackeys, though, completely useless, just coughing up a lung from all the chemical dust, absolutely paralyzed. So Sunjun handled it himself. He squeezed Xian's throat even tighter, fingers digging in deep. Was this really the best the kid could do? Was this his absolute limit? The bully was just spitting curses when suddenly a voice echoed through the smoke. Who gave him permission to touch his servant? Sunjun spun around in absolute terror. Enter our main character Ravis. He snatched the bully up. A brutal scream tore through the room, and the other thugs whipped around in sheer panic. As the dust finally cleared, they witnessed the impossible. Minho, Ravis in his body, was literally dragging their boss by the hair and beating him down. The goons instantly charged. But our guy didn't back away. Oh no. He dashed straight into the fight. Wham, one punch to the face. Smash down goes the second guy. He flattened both of them to the floor in seconds, casually asking why they were messing with his exclusive subordinate. He'd literally choose death before letting anyone touch his property. Xian stared up at his savior from the floor, his mind flashing right back to a very specific conversation. A memory hit him. He was showing Minho the app explaining how the community board worked. Connect with locals, share your location, maybe even set up a study group. Innocent stuff, right? Flashback Minho was totally blown away. He couldn't believe Xian built the whole thing himself. But then he pointed at this massive red button. What was that for? Xian had looked away, guilt written all over his face. He confessed that the last time those bullies dragged Minho off, he felt completely helpless and terrible about it. Truth was, he literally couldn't track down where they had taken him. So, he coded a solution. Classic tech genius move. He explained the feature. Hit that emergency button and boom, only your trusted circle instantly gets your exact coordinates. He promised that if things ever went sideways again, just push it. He swore he would drop everything to come save him, call the cops, rally their friends, whatever it took. Back then, Minho just gave this sad, grateful smile. He promised he would download the program immediately. Cut back to reality. Xian was staring up at him, literal tears pooling in his eyes. He held up his phone, didn't he come? Because of the alert. The signal worked right. Looking down at his screen, the kid absolutely broke down crying, thanking Minho for literally saving his life. Meanwhile, out on the street, total comedy hour. Street was trying to keep their hostage, G pinned down. The girl was throwing a massive fit and Street was getting super annoyed, telling her to just stop moving. But the moment Lord Ravis strolled out of that basement, Street looked away for 1 second. And yep, G totally slipped right out of her hands. Street bolted after her, immediately ready to tackle her. But our main character, he just waved it off. Let her run. She was completely useless to him now anyway. Staring up at the night sky, he realized those weird energy-devouring plants he had tracked down were officially wiped out. Back at the warehouse, oh, it was a literal blazing inferno. Sirens wailing everywhere as the cops and fire crews scrambled to extinguish the massive flames. Officer Park Youngin stepped onto the scene completely baffled by the chaos. Then he spotted them, a whole squad of gang members beaten to a pulp and scattered around the trees. Far from the sirens, Ravis was casually walking home. Xian trailed right behind him, throwing extremely confused glances at the weirdly dressed girl matching their pace. Right then, it finally clicked for our protagonist. Bon Bei and that shady uncle, they totally played him. Oh, the payback was going to be absolutely brutal when he got back. Xian broke the silence. Was he absolutely positive he didn't need a doctor? The response? Nah, too much effort. Classic overpowered laziness. Xian cracked a huge smile, thanking Minho from the bottom of his heart. He admitted he hit the panic button on a prayer, never actually expecting him to show. Ravis just blinked. Wait, what? Our tsundere lord tried to play it cool, claimed he just stumbled in there by pure coincidence. But Street, she literally slapped a hand over her mouth, completely losing it. She leaned in, whispering. A coincidence? Seriously, boss, because a little while ago, someone was sounding pretty desperate out on the streets. Flashback to earlier, he had literally threatened G, demanding directions to the hideout or she'd get crushed like her friends. G had even asked if he was going this crazy just for a buddy. That was the whole reason he went full Terminator mode. He had realized Xian got kidnapped, which perfectly explained his sudden absence from class. G had been screaming, if not for friendship, then why the heck was he doing all this? And right then, our guy had checked his phone, seeing that exact distress beacon flashing bright red. Back in the present, Street kept teasing him. You really can't pretend that was an accident, my lord. Pro tip, that is definitely not how you build solid human friendships. Let's be real here. Going back to the demon world, yeah, that's not happening anytime soon. This kid is practically staring at our boy Ravis like he's his personal superhero. Xian blinks, pointing a shaky finger at Street. And who is that? Our main character shrugs it off. Her, just my subordinate, named Street. Xian pauses, the gears slowly turning in his head. Wait, a subordinate. Is this still the Minho he knows? He grabs his buddy's arm, looking dead serious. Listen, I gotta ask you something. Tell me the truth. The insane glow-up, the weirdly dressed sidekick. Xian starts vibrating with pure hype. Oh man. Minho totally joined an underground mafia gang. He really didn't want his friend mixing with the wrong crowd. Meanwhile, our protagonist is busy stressing over all the future enemies that'll definitely hunt his servant down. Yeah, the main character sighs deeply. Can't exactly keep this a secret forever. See, Xian absolutely knew he was right about the gang thing. Boom, I am the son of the great demon king from the underworld. Ravis Vindica. Xian just stares at him. Complete silence. Literally who? Well, the cat's out of the bag, our guy smirks. Since you know my dark secret, now you're officially helping me out. Demon King's son. What kind of fantasy nonsense is this? Xian scoffs. Then he looks down at his lap and completely loses his mind. What the hell? Surprise. Street had magically transformed into an actual cat, just casually chilling on his legs and purring away like nothing happened. Street, you handle the explanation. Our guy yawns, stretching his arms. I've been fighting all damn day. I'm exhausted. The cat just nods. On it. Listen closely, human, the feline demands. Xian freezes, absolutely horrified. A talking cat, yep, that did it. His brain short-circuits and he passes out cold. Meanwhile, the mood takes a dark turn. He grabbed the whole crew. Heading to the station, a thug reports. Young Mu grinds his teeth. What an absolute idiot. He was so incredibly close. He could have ended him right there. Suddenly, Detective Cha spins around, glaring. Hey, who the hell are you? You can't be in here, but the robed guy doesn't care at all. He literally just shushes the cop, shoves him into the dirt, and keeps walking. Bauer strolls right up to the vehicle, shaking his head. Poor kid, looking absolutely pathetic. Young Mu panics, sweating bullets. Boss Bauer, he's my kill. Bauer just waves him off dismissively. Move, we're having a chat. Right then, Junjun is staring at the weird candy. Wait, all the dealers got taken down. Seriously, who exactly pulled off something this insane? Especially with this mind-warping candy stuff floating around secretly backed by the health ministry and already hooking innocent students. Absolute scumbags, she mutters in disgust. She glances over. The detective is groaning, barely scraping himself off the pavement. Ugh, my head is killing me. Jungun rushes over in full panic mode. Detective Cha, are you okay? He groans, waving her away. Forget about me. The car. Go check the damn car. Jungun peers inside the vehicle and her jaw drops. No freaking way. Where the hell did that idiot disappear to cut to young Mu, currently begging on his knees? Boss Bauer, please, just one more chance. He's desperate, swearing that if he gets just one more shot, he'll completely obliterate that punk. Bauer glares down at him, eyes cold. Do you have any idea how much those burnt flowers cost? Or how much of a nightmare it was gathering those test subjects? This is exactly why you never trust pathetic losers with the important stuff. His precious, twisted little flowers, completely ruined. Young Mu practically kisses the dirt, begging for his life. I swear I'll destroy him. Bauer just crushes a flower in his fist and violently smacks him across the face with it. Young Mu hits the floor, screaming in absolute agony. My eye, holy crap, my eye. Bauer casually steps over him. Remember that blood oath you swore to me. Time to prove your ultimate loyalty. Eat the flower. Meanwhile, a girl named Ji is in full survival mode. She just needs to make it out of this nightmare alive. Seriously, an absolute disaster. All she has to do is grab that crypto wallet and run. But where the hell is it? Suddenly, a junkie stumbles into the room. He mumbled about the cops raiding the main office, so he fell back here and ended up trapping her right along with him. What is wrong with you? Ji shrieks, backing up. The guy looks completely unhinged. Pointing at his bruised forehead, he begs, you did this to me. Just give me more candy. Ji's heart drops to her stomach. What an absolute psycho. Just how much of that garbage did this guy actually swallow? Grabbing a makeshift weapon, she swings wildly. Back the hell off, but he dodges effortlessly, landing a brutal punch right to her gut. She screams, the air knocked completely out of her. She drops to the floor, gasping through the intense pain. The guy, his eyes are literally rolling in different directions. Stupid girl. Just hand over the candy. He contorts backwards, screaming out absolute gibberish about a blue Baoji, breaks down, tears streaming. She really doesn't want her life to end in this messed up way. But then, the junkie's face suddenly dissolves into swirling black mana. A chilling new voice echoes out. Oh, Ravis is definitely not gonna like this. Ji freezes, staring at the shadowy figure in pure shock. Who? What are you? She practically begs whatever it is to just save her life. The entity just chuckles, apologizing that he barely has any energy left for this. If you're destined for hell, kid, just embrace it, right? Ji is stunned. Hell, this is officially a living nightmare. Don't worry though, the shadow smirks. I'll make sure to leave your body intact. Scene change. We jump back to the demon world with Inhi greeting her younger brother. Welcome back, Varkan. Ever since he dumped Ravis into the human world, he's clearly been plotting something shady. Inhi is furious. How dare he mess with her son like that? Varkan just flashes a cocky, unapologetic grin. Has his cover been blown yet? Relax, sister. Ravis is a grown demon now. Did she really think he tossed the kid out with absolutely nothing? Nope, he secretly hid the legendary demon bloodstone right inside the boy's body. He completely loses her cool, screaming at the top of her lungs. The demon bloodstone. Are you out of your actual freaking mind? Why don't you just broadcast to every enemy out there that the demon prince is completely unprotected? Varkin just sighs. Sister, maybe it's time you actually start trusting the kid. Inez scowled, crossing her arms in frustration. Look, she grumbled. It's not about whether I trust Ravis or not. The real issue, this world is completely unstable right now. One tiny mistake, one little crack, boom, everything collapses. Varkin just scoffed, striking a confident pose. You seriously underestimate him, sis. The guy is an absolute beast in combat, total warlord energy. Smack. Inez totally clocked him right on the head. He's an idiot, that's the problem, she yelled. If Ravis's soul takes even a scratch, game over. They both die. Do you even get that? Meanwhile, Varkin clutched his bruised head, whining about how he was way too old to still be getting smacked like a kid. He actually turned to Bonet and demanded a magical solution not to save the world, but to wipe out all bossy older sisters from existence. Classic Varkin. Inez just told him to shut his mouth, completely done, dealing with her absolutely unhinged brother. Bonet tried to play peacemaker while Inez literally put Varkin in a chokehold. Watching this chaos, Bonet couldn't help but wonder how the heck did Ravis survive these two. Cut back to our guy. Xian was completely terrified. You're actually a demon, our boy shrugged. Yeah, people do call us that. Street was just standing there beaming because her master saved them. But Xian pure panic mode. He stuttered out, asking if knowing this meant a one-way ticket to hell. Ravis gave him this dark, amused look. Buddy, hell is already right here. He promised Xian that under his protection in the demon realm, absolutely nobody would touch him. After all, he is Ravis, the one and only heir to the Demon King. But Xian, he was literally screaming, "Nope, no thanks, I don't want your protection." The dude wanted absolutely nothing to do with the underworld. This completely annoyed our main character, who muttered that the second he got home he was going to rip out Bonnet's eyes and casually drink them. Xian swallowed hard and asked the big question. Then, what happened to the real Minho? Street answered completely deadpan. The original guy's fate was sealed anyway. By their rules, demons can only take over bodies of humans who are officially marked for death. Xian looked like he was about to cry, his voice trembling as he asked, "What do you mean? Why was Minho destined to die?" Our main character just stared at him, totally confused by human emotion. Why the tears Xian would live for a couple more decades, and then they'd all hang out in the demon realm anyway. Xian's jaw dropped in absolute horror. Wait, so me going to hell is basically guaranteed? Ravis rolled his eyes at the dramatics. Humans and their wild imaginations, right. The demon world is an absolute blast, he said. Right, Street. She immediately nodded in agreement. Yeah, just a fun place, completely filled with agonizing screams, torn flesh, and the permanent stench of fresh blood. Totally chill vacation spot. Xian clapped his hands over his ears, begging her to stop. Our boy just sighed. That was years away anyway. He ordered Xian to act completely normal, and most importantly, shut his mouth. Terrified out of his mind, Xian aggressively nodded. Then our main character groaned, rubbing his shoulders. Ugh, my whole body is killing me again. He started walking off with Street hurrying right behind him. Fast forward a bit, he finally made it back to the apartment, clutching his skull. The migraine was absolutely blinding. He figured he probably burned through way too much of the demon bloodstone's energy. But right then, little brother Mina's cheerful voice echoed through the room. She rushed out, holding a lit cake, screaming, "Happy birthday, our demon lord was completely lost." Birthday, what the heck is that? Mina excitedly explained that she and their mom had been baking it since yesterday. Though honestly, she couldn't promise it actually tasted good. She slapped a ridiculous party hat right on his head, adding that their parents would be home soon. Then whipping out her phone, she insisted on a mandatory birthday selfie. But our guy caught something else. He narrowed his eyes at the bandage slapped across her cheek. "What happened to your face?" Mina brushed it off with a smile. "Just some punks messing with a poor old lady, so she stepped in. No biggie." Inside, Ravis scoffed at her useless heroics. She was incredibly weak, yet she was throwing punches for strangers. Humans were so weird. Anyway, Mina clapped her hands. Time to eat. He had to be starving. Without even waiting, she shoved a massive spoonful of cake right into his mouth. And suddenly, his eyes shot wide open in pure shock. Wait, what was this absolute magic? Soft, fluffy, ridiculously sweet. He literally grabbed his cheeks, closing his eyes as pure culinary bliss hit his taste buds. But then a furious shout shattered the peace. What an absolute disaster. He demanded to know exactly where those idiots who threw eggs at him lived. He swore he was going to end them all. His poor assistant was just frantically nodding to survive the tantrum. Tasik whipped around and actually struck the assistant, screaming that he'd destroy him first for failing to stop a few simple flying eggs. Complete scumbag behavior. The mom, Jui, rushed in to grab his arm, begging him to calm down. His response, he hit her too. Mina immediately snapped, telling him to back off and leave their mom alone. Tasic glared at them, absolutely unhinged. Then his eyes locked onto the table. What the hell is this? He snapped, pointing at the dessert. Here he was humiliated and pelted with garbage during his election campaign, and his family was throwing a literal party. He shoved Mina out of the way, snarling that they'd lost their fear. And then he did it. He flipped the cake right off the table. Smash. He screamed that if he were their real father, they wouldn't even dare swallow a single bite right now. Jui was openly weeping, now pleading with him to just stop. It was Minho's birthday, for crying out loud. A birthday, he roared back. Who cares about a stupid birthday in this situation? Our main character just stood there deadpan. Tasic called them useless idiots and violently slammed the door. But our demon lord, he was staring at the floor, his beautiful cake, completely ruined. This mortal trash actually dared to destroy his dessert. Meanwhile, Jui broke down, completely apologizing and begging for forgiveness for her kids. Mina hugged her mom tight, whispering that none of this was her fault. Our boy finally turned around, dark energy brewing. This arrogant piece of human garbage had just crossed the ultimate line. Fast forward a bit. Tasic was storming around his office, screaming into the phone that some idiot named Young Moo wasn't sending the money or answering his calls. Oh, he had no idea what was coming. Where did this guy even go? I mean, just to snap one single picture with Deputy Park, you gotta pay up front. Young Moo, you absolute moron. The guy frantically nodded, sweating bullets. We are doing everything humanly possible to track him down, sir. Tashik was absolutely livid. Bowing to some fool just for poll numbers. Bad enough. And now his own team was acting like total clowns. Suddenly, bam, an assistant burst into the office. Sir, you need to see this. Mina's video is completely breaking the internet. Tashik just blinked. What? Another video? The assistant shoved a tablet right into his hands. Just watch this, sir. On screen, some thug had grabbed Mina's face. She was screaming. And yeah, the camera caught every single second. Someone had to stop this. Who do you think you are bothering me? The guy sneered. But Mina Shi smacked his hand away. Who are you to mock an old lady, Young Moo? The thug panicked. This girl is totally insane. We gotta bounce. Let's get out of here right now. What were they all staring at? Time to run. With the jerks gone, Mina gently checked on the old woman. Grandma, are you okay? The sweet lady thanked her. Watching this, Tashik's eyes narrowed. Wait, did something actually happen to Mina? The assistant just nodded eagerly. Yes, sir. Get this. If the public finds out Mina is his daughter right now, his approval ratings will skyrocket. The comment section was already going absolutely wild. A massive wicked grin spread across Tashik's face. Is that so? Oh yeah. The pieces were falling into place perfectly. Cut to a dark room. A creepy voice echoed. How did such a gorgeous face stay hidden? Yeonju Hansu smirked. Bring her in. What do you think? Mina's face glowed on their monitor. The woman smiled, a chilling smile. This is Mother's new vessel. Hansu just stared. She's absolutely flawless. Hansu kept staring, looking a bit too intense. Yeonju tilted her head. What's wrong? Not a fan, Hansu shrugged. Not really. Oh, are you jealous? This girl had the exact look they needed. The perfect candidate to become their mother's new host body. Because, let's face it, human meat ages way too fast. Mortals get ugly, they wrinkle, they rot. But this new vessel, flawless. It's pure destiny, Hansu whispered. Such a beautiful little doll, but inside he was thinking something way darker. I wonder what kind of sound she'll make when I break her. Boom. Next day, every single news channel blew up. Hero high schooler saves grandma, and the twist, she's a mayoral candidate's daughter. Absolute media gold. The assistant was practically vibrating with joy. Sir, as of this morning's polls, we just snatched back first place. At this pace, winning the election was basically a locked deal. Tonight at 9 o'clock, Primetime News was going to broadcast her entire video. Primetime News, Tashik chuckled darkly. Perfect. Who would have guessed his loudmouth stepdaughter would be his golden ticket to the mayor's seat? Time to play the loving dad. To keep the hype train rolling, they needed to set up some very public, very fake charity events. Slap Mina's name on every single charity project we can find. The assistant rapidly took notes. Right away, sir. Oh, and one more thing. Han Yeonju, the director of Nox, just called us. Tashik stopped dead. Wait. Yeonju, why the hell is a mega corporation like Nox calling me? They said Mina's viral video caught their attention, sir. Tashi couldn't believe his ears. Nox, the biggest players in the entire city. Mina wasn't just a golden ticket, she was a whole treasure chest. Meanwhile, across town, Xion shook his head. He had zero clue Minho's stepdad was running for mayor. Our main character tilted his head. His stepdad. Do you actually know Jung Minho's family situation? Xion sighed and explained. Minho never really talked about it. Xion only knew they were tight. And one thing was absolutely certain: Minho protected his little sister fiercely. Protected her. The demon lord looked up scoffing. His own uncle always taught him to only protect pawns that brought him real power. He briefly thought back to Varcone. Man, that guy was insanely annoying. Suddenly, Ravis froze, looking straight up at the wall. He glanced down, totally deadpan. Why are you stuck in a wall again? Citri, literally wedged into a brick crack, pouted. I might have snacked a bit too much lately. Our boy just sighed. Are all portals to the demon realm this ridiculously small? Anyway, what did Bambi want? Citri wiggled a piece of paper free. Mr. Bambi wasn't around, but he left this note. It basically read, "Hey, nice job on the last mission. Since you're at it, grab Bauer too. I'll send a cute little reward, so go fetch him for me." Ravis instantly shredded the note. Pure rage. That absolute scumbag. He thinks he can use Emmy as an errand boy. I'll butcher him before I even touch Bauer. Citri frantically begged her boss to chill out. Beside them, Xion was staring at his phone. The headline, Taeshik taking a massive lead in the polls. Xion muttered, "Seriously? At this insane pace, is Minho's dad actually going to become the mayor?" The public was totally eating out of the palm of his hand. Ravis glanced over. Is a slimy rat like him really going to devour this whole city? Devour? No, Xion replied grimly. But he'll absolutely control it. Ravis snorted. That level of disgusting greed reminded him exactly of a Cinerus. Honestly, Jung Tashik might just be a Cinerus hiding in this garbage human world. Xion looked confused, so Citri gladly explained the demon lore. A Cinerus is a demon of pure gluttony. They literally never stop eating. Even other demons absolutely despise those guys. But Boss Ravis rules our whole district back home, Citri added. And this Jung Tashik guy, he's just a fragile little human. Ravis narrowed his eyes. Is he really? Because this reeks. If a greedy parasite like him gets to rule, then this human world is completely rotten to the core. Anyway, Citri, go on a diet, or you're going to turn into a fat Cinerus yourself. Tears welled up. Yes, Mr. Ravis, she choked out. Xion gave him the rundown. This sleazebag Taeshik, he was definitely going to use Mina, and our boy was absolutely furious. Young Minho and young Mina, he muttered. Arriving back home, he suddenly caught voices drifting from inside. Seriously, what kind of mess was Mina in now? Yeonju smiled smoothly. Her visuals are outstanding, and she already mastered the dance basics. She could debut fast straight into the center position. The hype was real, but Jui wasn't having it. She's literally a high schooler, and she never even asked to be famous. Taeshik shot her a warning glare. Playing the fake nice guy, he purred, Darling, no need to embarrass us here. The kid is a natural, wasting that raw talent, a total crime. Then he gave a fake apology. Please excuse my wife, she gets anxious. Our boy stepped into the room, surprising Jui completely. But Yeonju just kept her slick sales pitch going. Relax, Nox Agency will perfectly balance her schoolwork and idol schedules. Listen, modern idols are completely different from the old generation, she insisted. They dominate charts and still score elite university spots. Yeah, right. Meanwhile, Ravis caught Hanu staring intensely at Mina. Our guy narrowed his eyes. Who was this creep? Taeshik practically drooled as he flipped open the folder. So? He asked, grinning like a shark. I just signed this exact contract. Exactly. Yeonju nodded. This magical document guarantees a shining future for Mina. It's an exclusive ironclad deal with Nox Agency. Mina locked up completely, sitting in total silence with her head bowed. Yeonju finally noticed our main character. Oh, are you Mina's older brother? She slapped on a fake smile. Such a pleasure, I'm Han Yeonju, the agency representative. Ravis just stared her down in dead silence. Taeshik immediately blew a gasket. Jung Minho, where are your manners? Greet our guest. Oh, relax, Mr. Candidate, Yeonju laughed smoothly. Teenagers are all moody. Meanwhile, Ravis realized something. The real Minho actually treasured his little sister deeply. Suddenly a memory flashed. Varkin's voice echoed Ravis, I always have your back. Then the memory version of MC screamed, totally confused by the chaos. Listen to me carefully, Varkin warned him back then. This world is crawling with absolute monsters, thirsting for the ruler's absolute power. But you're the heir, the brother of Gamdad. You carry the ultimate legacy. The pressure was insane. He had to unite his followers or face total destruction. Ravis scoffed, clearly annoyed by this. I can handle things perfectly alone. Varkin just belted out a massive laugh. Talk big while you can, but mark my words, one day you'll find people you desperately want to protect. You won't even realize how soft you've gotten. Ravis just rolled his eyes. Honestly, he absolutely despised this cheesy emotional nonsense. Ravis demanded they just practice instead. Varkin chuckled joyfully. You are exactly like him, nephew. Snap back to reality. Our boy gently dropped a hand on his sister's shoulder, deadly serious. Jung Mina, is this really what you want? She flinched, looking up with wide eyes. Brother. Ravis didn't blink once. If they're forcing you into this, just say the word. I'll handle them, he promised. But Mina dropped her gaze, dark memories suddenly flooding back, Tasik striking her mom, screaming, "What, you're leaving? Ungrateful wretch, I took you in." The flashback hit hard. Scream all you want, you are never taking the kids. He literally grabbed her mother by the hair, losing his mind. They're on my family register, you hear me? Jui was just crying, begging for freedom. But he just kept roaring. Go ahead, try to leave. Let's see how you survive out there without a single penny. Little Mina boldly stepped forward and fired back. We have Grandpa's inheritance. That money isn't yours, Uncle. Tasik scoffed, totally annoyed. Spouting pure nonsense just like your mother. You kids know nothing. Squeezing Jui's face tight, he growled, "Want to know the ultimate secret to surviving in this brutal world? Never ever let go of the things you currently own. Burn that into your brain." Back in the present, Mina took a deep breath, facing reality. Yes, I'm doing this because I really want to. But I have one condition. Any money I make, it goes in my name. She clenched her fists, silently vowing to buy her family's freedom from this absolute monster. Tasik played dumb. What condition? Oh, Mina, that totally goes without saying. It's your hard-earned cash after all. Yeonju immediately jumped on the opening. Perfect. Shall we get this contract signed right now then? Tasik handed over the pen, laying the act on thick. Please look after our precious Mina. She's my entire life. Disgusting. Jui grabbed her hand. Mina, are you sure? Flashing a warm smile, she nodded. Yes, Mom. Just trust me. And thanks for worrying about me, brother. Our boy watched her in total silence. Later, sitting in her luxury car, Yeonju was completely obsessing. Seriously, the more I look, the more flawless she gets. My ultimate new vessel, that face, those eyes. And that pure innocence, it's incredibly rare nowadays. She was practically drooling over every single detail. But that young Minho guy felt seriously unusual. Yeonju glanced back. Hanu, what do you think? Mina's brother has a totally twisted aura. I'm telling you, that guy isn't human. Yeonju just laughed it off smoothly. Wow, if you're that spooked, maybe he's just some crazy stalker from the demon realm. Hanu wasn't joking around. Mom, if he's actually a demon follower, shouldn't I just eliminate him? No way, too early, Yeonju replied instantly. Rash moves cause massive problems while they are watching us. Our main target right now is Mina. Hanu aggressively grabbed his head, groaning in pure frustration. But that idiot looked ready to rip my throat out. Just be patient, Yeonju smirked with pure malice. The moonless night is approaching fast. Once the ritual is done and Mina's body is finally mine, do whatever you want with Minho. Hanu's eyes practically sparkled. Wait, seriously, you promise? Yeonju smirked. Of course. Consider it a gift from Mom. I promise. But then Hanu hesitated. And what about Mara? Her eyes snapped wide open. What Mara? Her voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. Never say that name again. I am Yeonju. Actually, scratch that. Soon I'll be reborn as Jong Mina, the great demon king, the 12 black thrones. They won't touch me. Nobody is stopping me. Not this time. Cut to the real Mina. She stood outside the massive agency building, taking one deep, shaky breath. I've got this, she told herself. Stepping inside, Yeonju immediately clapped her hands for attention. Time to introduce Mina, the newest member of their little corporate family. You've all seen her trending online, right? Well, Mina here is the official center for our brand new idol group, Zara. One trainee's face immediately dropped. Director. Wait. How did this happen so fast? I've been grinding for that center spot for literally years. Yeonju offered a totally fake smile. Hi-Yeon, you worked hard. But Mina is the center now. Please guide her. Yeonju turned to leave, tossing back a casual, good luck. Mina nodded. But the second that door clicked shut, pure tension. Hi-Yeon glared. Let me guess daddy's connections. Mina looked confused, but Haeyeon wasn't holding back. We all know your father is running for mayor, princess. Must be nice, just buying your way right to the top. I bled for this center position, 4 whole years. If I'm not the center, I am completely done with this group. Mina quietly said no. And oh man, Haeyeon snapped. Smack. She slapped Mina right across the face, screaming, what do you mean no? Let's see those precious connections save you now. Mina flinched hard, clutching her cheek as a thin line of blood dripped. Meanwhile, Yeonju walked into her office, only to hear Hanu muttering, oh, that's brutal. Mom's gonna flip. He pointed frantically at the security feed. Mom, look. Yeonju frowned. What now? Hanu shrieked. That girl scratched Mina. She's bleeding. Actual blood. Yeonju's expression instantly went completely dead. That worthless little bug. She dared to put a scratch on my precious vessel. Cut over to the park where our guys were chilling. So Mina's debuting soon. Nox is a massive agency, isn't it? Play our cards right, and we conquer this entire human world. Xion gave her a look. Citri, do you literally know everything? She smirked. Hey, I've been surviving in this human society for 200 years. The main character just crossed his arms. Whatever my sister wants, honestly, not my problem. But that female director and her weird little entourage, they seriously rub me the wrong way. Zero demonic energy off them, but my gut is screaming red flags. They could easily be demons playing pretend in human skin. Citri nodded. The longer a demon stays topside, the better they get at masking their aura. Playing it totally paranoid is definitely a smart move. Though Lord Ravis maybe stop glaring at random people while wearing Minho's body. Xion totally agreed. Yeah, Minho. Creeping everyone out isn't a great strategy. Ravis just scoffed. Whatever. They're still insanely suspicious. Even without the aura, I know a demon when I see one. Xion sighed. Great. And I'm still coming up empty on finding Baal. Our guy finally lost it. Citri dragged this absolute idiot back to the demon world immediately. Throw him in the absolute worst hell training camp, Citri saluted. Understood. Xion panicked, yelling, Hey, stop threatening me every 5 seconds. You know perfectly well that those elite camps are completely impossible to enter. The main character gritted his teeth. Because his demon bloodstone was currently broken, every random lackey was treating him like a joke. Ravis turned. Citri, tell me you found a way to fix the stone. Citri's face completely lit up. Yes, just like you asked, I found the exact method to restore Lord Ravis's magical dominance. He nodded. Perfect. I'll get my magic back online. Meanwhile, you and servant number 1 go dig up every dirty little secret on Han Yenju and those creepy twins. Consider it done, Citri replied. But she was totally confused. He's just a servant. Later that night, Haiyan stumbled down a dark street completely sobbing. Wiping her face, she muttered, This is all so wrong. It wasn't supposed to go like this. 4 years. I sacrificed everything. But then a terrifying metallic ring echoed behind her. She froze, spun around absolutely terrified. Who's there? A shadow stepped forward. It was Hanyang. Haiyan took a shaky breath, absolutely terrified. Hanyang, what are you doing? Wait, did I do something wrong? Is this about Mina? Look, I'm so sorry, I just snapped because I was so insanely frustrated right then. Flash of steel. Hanyang struck without warning, splattering dark blood across the entire pavement. Hanyang just tilted his head. Why the face, though? Mom really hates that. Let's rewind a bit. Flashback to an ordinary couple taking a walk. The guy gently patted his wife's head. Yanju, you really shouldn't be out walking this late. It seriously worries me. She gave this incredibly sweet smile. You bought fried chicken for our twins, and you're heading back. Obviously, I couldn't just sit home waiting for you. Her husband chuckled at how adorable she was. Are you sure it's the twins who want the food, or is my beautiful wife just hungry? She just laughed a pure happy sound. But down in the pitch-black sewer, Mara was quietly watching their every move. Cut to later that night. Yanju was tossing and turning, trapped in a terrible nightmare. Her eyes snapped open only to find Mara hovering right over her bed, grinning like a maniac. I love it. Pure panic. Yanju screamed what was happening, but Mara just shushed her. Keep it down or she'd wake everyone. No need to stress about the kids, Mara whispered. She'd handle them. She just needed their bodies. Yanju's mind went blank with absolute terror. No, not her babies. The fight ended as the entity took full control. She laughed like a total maniac. Her husband woke up instantly. What's that noise? He squinted at his wife, completely confused. Honey bam. She grabbed his throat, dangling him right out the window. He shrieked in absolute terror. Darling, stop. She just tilted her head. This is her husband. Absolutely revolting. How did she even tolerate this guy? The poor dude just sobbed, terrified and totally helpless. Who are you? He begged. She simply smirked. Like you need to know. And just like that, she let go. He plummeted, screaming all the way down. Splat. Game over for him. Mara just gripped her pregnant belly and cackled. The vessel officially secured. Cut to the maternity ward. Absolute chaos. A blood-curdling scream tore through the room as Mara literally drop-kicked the doctor. Holy hell, this is agonizing. The poor obstetrician was frantic. What are you doing? Please, you need to calm down and push. Shut your mouth, Mara snapped. Extract this little monster right now before it murders us all. I swear this is entirely that idiot Anissa's fault. A moment later, the doctor stared in pure horror. What on earth? Babies, this is impossible. Fast forward. Mara gripped her post-pregnancy stomach, looking completely disgusted. This human vessel is basically trash now. Just look at this hideous, ruined flesh. When does this heal? Little Hansu reached out mommy, and she casually kicked the kid away. My magic was stolen, so you parasites owe me big time. Stop crawling around like pathetic bugs. Grow up fast. Guard me until I find a perfect new vessel for my soul. Meanwhile, the neighborhood gossip was already running wild. Everyone knew she was supposedly grieving her dead husband, but her behavior, way past suspicious at this point. One neighbor whispered, pity has its limits. That woman, completely different from the old Yanju. Another chimed in, wait, what about her poor babies? She keeps them totally hidden, the first woman replied. Honestly, I bet she's barely ever at that house. Which is crazy because she struggled so hard to get pregnant. Cut to Mara seducing a guy. She stroked his cheek. So you work in TV? Lots of cute guys around, right? She purred. A terrifying dark mist slipped from her lips. The hypnotized dude could only stammer, yeah, tons. He instantly blacked out. Mara grinned wickedly. Well, Anise, this human world does have perks. Lots of pretty things. I'll devour them all. And then I'm ripping you apart myself. Jump to the present day. Mara was currently sobbing her eyes out. Detective, you don't understand. Hai Yi Yang was our idol group center. Pure talent. An absolute angel everyone adored. Fake tears, level 100. The cop wasn't buying the drama. Did the victim have rivalries? Any creepy stalkers hanging around the agency? Mara suddenly burst into a violent cough. She was. The cop frowned. Director, you okay? I can't. More aggressive hacking. Hansu stepped in, playing the perfect son. Officer, I think we're done here for today. My mother loved that girl like her own flesh and blood. Maybe go interview the other trainees instead. Detective Cha sighed. Got it. We'll go now. Let's move Detective Park. His partner gave a quick nod, but Park threw one last suspicious glance at the duo. Click. Door shut. Instantly, black sludge and literal bugs spilled from Mara's mouth. Gross. Filthy little cops, she hissed, sniffing around my business. Who the hell paid them to investigate this deep? Why aren't their superiors stopping this? Hansu wiped the grime. Relax, Mom. They'll hit a dead end. Mara snarled. My vessel is literally decaying. Time is running out. That stupid brat Hai Yi Yang actually managed to damage my precious current body. Hansu wrapped an arm around her. Stressed mother, don't be. I'll get Jongmina's body prepped for you ASAP. Just breathe, all right. Mara scowled deeply. Fine, but hurry. Scene change. A sharp voice cut through the trainee practice room. You all heard about Hai Yi Yang, right? Total psychopath move. Hansu clapped his hands, stepping forward. Well, the world is packed with completely unhinged lunatics out there. Stabbing a trainee in broad daylight. Insane. So for your own protection and to keep team morale high, we're making some sudden changes. Mandatory dorm life. Starting tomorrow morning. Pack your bags because you're all moving in. Mina blinked. A dorm, is that actually mandatory? Hansu's smile vanished. Got a reason to refuse. Living together builds teamwork. We need you all, completely unified. Classic manipulation tactics. Mina panicked. But my mom and little brother need me. Hansu nodded slowly. You ask for too much, but if you resist, you belong to her anyway. He gripped her shoulders tightly. Just relax. Mentally, he scoffed. Seriously, what are you gonna do? Mess up that pretty face and my mother will slaughter you. Out loud, he played the gentle manager. Please understand, we lost someone irreplaceable. The director is incredibly fragile right now. Don't cause trouble, just nod and follow the rules. Understood. Management already cleared this with your families, so bring your stuff tomorrow. Got it. The terrified trainees could only mumble, yes sir. Mina kept thinking about moving out. Her brother's bizarre behavior lately, yeah, that was definitely stressing her out. Suddenly unhinged screaming echoed through the house. Shion was aggressively pumping iron, yelling his lungs out with every single rep. Ravis just stared at this absolute clown show. Human workout routine, ridiculous. But somehow his demonic aura was actually growing. Sure, he could bully regular humans right now, but a real demonic beast, he would get absolutely crushed. Bambi is a total idiot. If that fool wanted him to use this power, giving instructions for the demon bloodstone would have been nice. Flashback time, Bambi was just chilling in bed, realizing he probably should write down a manual for this magical artifact, so he scribbled a quick little note. Dear best buddy, Ravis, since you are currently pathetic, here are 2 gifts. First, the artifact manual. Now normally, this specific stone is meant to hijack the magical energy of various monsters, but our boy hacked it. He rigged it to pump his soul's magic directly into a human vessel. The catch, the true power only awakens when the stone shatters completely. Bambi literally cheered at his own genius. How to break it, take a solid punch right to the face. He kept writing. Second gift, he sent that specific kid over, basically begging for forgiveness with a massive I love you. Take good care of our buddy, okay? Bambi smiled, thinking his master plan was flawless. Just deliver the letter. Read it well and get super strong, except our main character completely ignored the letter and just ripped it up. Back to reality. Ravis was working out, wondering if instructions were in that shredded note. Then pure panic Street came screaming about a massive emergency. He just blinked. Was this animal seriously sprinting on 2 legs right now? Whatever. What is the bad news? Street gasped for air. That director he asked about Han Yeonju and the twins. Yeah, major plot twist. The director is actually Mara. Like the actual Mara, Shion looked completely lost. Who the heck is that? Street lost her mind. The Witch of Greed, a literal dark duke. Mara Bellax hijacked a human vessel and is just casually living among them. A wicked smirk crossed his face. So that is where she ran off to. Flashback to the demon realm. A servant was totally fangirling over Ines, the absolute stunner of the underworld. Just gorgeous. What is her secret pure truth? Ines smiled and said, real beauty comes from always being honest. Classic, elegant answer. The servant practically melted with joy. Seriously, every single thing she said sounded like an angelic choir. Pure perfection. Honesty equals glowing skin. That meant Lady Ines was only going to get prettier. Another servant happily chimed in. She was actually making her own kid practice elegant insults just to capture a tiny fraction of Lady Ines's vibe, teaching the little one that words are ultimate weapons of true dignity. Ines graciously reached out her elegant hands. She smiled warmly. And with this, I grant you the ultimate blessing of pure eloquence. The servant absolutely lost it, sobbing out a massive thank you. Mara watched this wholesome scene with pure disgust. What absolute garbage, she scoffed. The servant tried to be polite. Miss Bellax, you look great too. Mara gave a super fake smile. Oh, thanks. Let me bless your daughter too. May she brutally die, drowning in her own filthy greed. The poor servant literally froze, grabbing her face in absolute terror. Mara was silently raging. Oh, payback was definitely coming for this humiliation. Back in the present, Street interrupted the memory. So, this psycho had a massive inferiority complex against Ines. Yep, Ravis sighed. Mom said this petty jealousy started way back in childhood. His mom obviously could not care less. Word is right, after becoming one of the 12 Dark Dukes, Mara got busted, stealing the core of demon souls. Then she cowardly bolted straight to Earth. Shion pushed up his glasses. So why is this insane witch targeting Mina specifically? Did she figure out his true identity? Highly doubt it. If she actually knew, she would have tried to annihilate him on day one. Regardless, fighting her in this weak human shell, absolute suicide. Plus, her freaky twin kids are probably packing some serious firepower too. Street was serious now. We must power up that bloodstone immediately. I will start preparing the ritual right away. Step 1 for an epic witch hunt, complete area purification. Let's go. Meanwhile, at the mart, Jui looked totally stressed. Mina, seriously, just quit that job if it is too much. The second you entered there, all this crazy trouble began. I feel super uneasy. Mina flashed a reassuring smile. Mom, relax. Bosansu promised they will catch the criminal very soon. Apparently, it was a totally random attack. Jui sighed, reminding her that becoming a vet was always her real dream. Mina stared blankly at the pet food aisle. Being a vet sounds amazing, but studying for years, way too slow. She needed cash immediately to rescue her mom from that toxic nightmare of a house. She smiled brightly. Mom, opportunities like this are super rare. Dreams can evolve right. I'm going to get famous and rake in the cash, but Jui looked heartbroken. Living in a dorm means I will almost never see you. Please stop worrying about me, Mina pleaded softly. Once these elections end, that awful stepfather will finally chill out. Jui's eyes filled with massive regret. If only I had never remarried. You kids would not be trapped in this absolute misery. Mina gently squeezed her mom's shoulder. Hey, stop that right now. You raised 2 kids basically all by yourself when you were super young. You did your absolute best. Look, it wasn't her fault Dad died. And honestly, that step-uncle played the nice guy perfectly until the wedding. Everyone got played. Jui called Mina, who forced a smile and asked her mom to wait a bit. She was gonna try. Anyway, cut to a theme park. People are screaming. Our guy wipes his puke, scoffing about weak humans. Seriously, what's the big deal? Shion stared. Minho, do all demons throw up this dramatically, or is it just a you thing? I just ate something stale, our guy yelled defensively. Shion wasn't having it bluntly, telling him to wipe his chin before speaking. Why even go skating? Ravis screamed about the nightmare. He literally thought he'd never sit down again. Later, they stopped at a creepy building surrounded by dead trees. Our boy whispered, Hey Spirit, are you absolutely sure it's here? 100% Master. Get this, some rogue demon slipped right under the radar in the human realm, but her elite tracking senses totally sniffed him out. Ravis wanted details. Who's the target? The Spirit dropped the name Scarum. This guy's whole gimmick, he literally turns pure human screams into raw magic power. He takes all that horror and suffering, channels it into demon frequency energy, and buffs himself up. So, the ultimate bait, someone who screams like an absolute coward. Our guy's eyes lit up. Oh really? He slowly turned to Shion. Well buddy, looks like you'll finally be useful today. Shion immediately panicked. Me, come on, I don't even know fear, I've never screamed in my entire life. Yeah right. Ravis grabbed his collar. We're chatting inside. Terrified, Shion practically cried, begging him to just let go. The Spirit cheerfully guarded the door, wishing them luck. Once inside, our guy looked around. People are actually scared of this. They're literally just cheap props. But Shion was shaking. Bro, Spirit rumors, the aura in here feels totally wrong. There was definitely something lurking. Ravis sighed. Yeah, no kidding. That's what we're here to catch. Stop panicking. Boom, a prop head dropped down. Our supposedly fearless guy shrieked loudly and Shion grabbed his hand, screaming right back. Did he just swear? He was terrified, right? Our boy snapped, ordering him to shut up. Total pretend, just testing the enemy's reaction. So his first time ever screaming like that. Shion just adjusted his glasses. Yeah, sure, seems like it. Anyway, is this really the fastest strategy? Our guy explained. Reacting to human world evil slowly unlocks the demonic bloodstone's power bit by bit. Meaning, if you absorb raw demon malice, which is way heavier than human stuff, you can trigger a massive power boost from the stone. Right on cue, the monster's bone-chilling voice echoed out. Oh, that scream, the voice hissed. So sweet. Like fresh blood, as pure as a newborn's very first cry. Shion locked eyes with Scarum, totally losing his mind. What the heck is that? Scarum just smiled. Delicious. Keep screaming, little human. Louder. Terrified, Shion stuttered. Minho, that's the target, right? Our guy instantly stepped up, slapping the demon's hand away. Don't touch him. He's my minion. Scarum tilted his head. Who is this guy? He definitely isn't human. Ravis gave a cold, arrogant smirk. Want to hear the kind of scream I can make? Scarum burst into manic laughter. A little bug like you, surviving me. Bam! The demon swatted him away and snatched up a squealing Shion. Minho. Scarum loved it. Perfect, that exact scream. Hitting the ground, Ravis frowned and clicked his tongue loudly. Great. Now he could only use one good arm. He launched himself at Scarum. Where do you think you're going? The demon sneered, pushing him back. Shion was hyperventilating. Minho, dodge. Scarum flexed his dark mana toward Shion. Music to my ears, scream louder. Ravis snapped right back. I said shut up and let go. His screams only buffed the boss. Shion instantly clamped hands over his mouth, muffling desperate apologies. Scarum just laughed, those eyes full of absolute terror. I think I'll pluck them out and wear them as earrings. Our boy dodged the strike, clenching his fist. Who said anyone here is scared of you? He threw a punch, but Scarum mocked him. Look at the little guy flailing his tiny arms. Adorable. Truly adorable, the demon teased. Meanwhile, our guy mentally cursed. His physical jump right now, basically weak human level. Stuck in this mortal shell, he couldn't even handle a trash-tier demon. Scarum suddenly grabbed Ravis. Shion watched in absolute horror, biting his own hands to stop the screams from coming out. Minho. He struggled to escape, letting out a grunt. Scarum formed a deadly weapon. Made this from your buddy's terror. Imagine the sweet sound you'll make when I scoop your brains out with it. Our boy gritted out, you ugly freak, I won't scream. Scarum's smile stretched. Really, let's test that. The demon raised a razor-sharp claw, thrusting it directly into our guy's eye. Shion's heart stopped. No. But instead of blood, cracked glass-like shards rained down. Scarum froze, totally confused. Wait, did the kid's eye just shatter and glow? Flashback time. Bambi once wrote about tweaking the demonic bloodstone, rigging it to channel absolute nightmare-level vengeful spirit power straight into a frail human vessel. But the catch, that god-tier power stays completely locked away until the stone itself is physically shattered. Ravis chuckled darkly to himself. Bambi, you absolute idiot. So this is exactly how you hid the release trigger. Wait, what's happening? Scarum panicked. His razor-sharp claws couldn't even scratch this ordinary human's eye. Our main character casually swatted him away. He wasn't your average human. Scarum glared, totally confused, while Minho yelled, Shion, don't stop. Let him hear it. Shion hesitated. But won't that power him up? Ravis wasn't having it. Just shut up and scream. Shion clenched his fists tight. He had absolutely no idea what insane plan was brewing, but he had to trust Minho. Taking a massive breath, Shion let out an ear-piercing shriek. Scarum grinned like a maniac. Ah, music to my ears. Meanwhile, our boy was smirking. Thanks to the demon bloodstone acting up the ancient seal on his right eye finally breaking, Shion kept shrieking while Scarum practically howled with laughter. What an idiot, feeding me pure power. Your cockiness just killed you. Minho just smirked. You get sluggish when you gorge on screams, right? Scarum completely froze. Wait, what? Now it's time for your screech, Ravis mocked. He launched straight up, ruthlessly attacking Scarum's head. He could feel it perfectly. The demon bloodstone's shell had completely shattered. Soaking up all this raw demonic malice, his original power would return in no time. A dense chunk of mana floated up before instantly vanishing. The main character realized this accumulated power completely outclassed any pathetic human medicine. With the bloodstone finally unleashed, it was an all-you-can-eat buffet of malice until his true, terrifying power completely returned. Shion practically trembled. That monster, I thought it ate him. Wait, is he actually okay? Ravis flashed a wicked smirk. Obviously. Now let's go hunt down the next target. Meanwhile, back at the academy. Thanks for the escort, Vice Principal, Mina mumbled. Hyung just nodded coldly. Unpack your things. You're grounded here until training officially begins. Mina nodded nervously. Bamhan slammed the door shut. She bit her lip, clenching her fists tight. She had to survive this. But then she glanced up. Yep, a security camera staring right at her from the corner. Cut to Mara literally reaching her hand right through a monitor. Hansu, mommy is so worried. He hugged the screen tightly. Even when I steal that girl's body, you'll still obey mommy, right? Always, Mom. Hansu promised, his crazy plan officially in motion. Back with our crew, Street suddenly paused. Oh, that glorious scent of blood. She bowed dramatically, absolutely thrilled. Congratulations on regaining your magic, O supreme lord of the blood of every living creature. The mighty Lord Ravis Vindica, may bloody trails follow your every single footstep. I shall be your loyal shadow following you into the deepest darkness, the main character sighed. Okay, let's dial back the cringe. He demanded the exact coordinates for their next prey. Meanwhile, her real mission was to track down Mara immediately. Once he got his full strength back, he was going to crush her completely. Understood, Street reported. Next up, a demon that feasts on toxic energy from human lungs. Apef's soul. Cut to this demon floating next to a chain smoker, laughing like a maniac. Yes, inhale more. Bam. Our main character snatched Apef right by the skull. You're coming with me. The monster totally panicked. Wait, who the hell are you? Minho just slammed his face straight into the concrete. Your worst nightmare. Ugh, you reek. Next target, some loser demon snacking on drunk people's energy. Ravis sliced the guy into pieces, totally unfazed. Man, this one smells absolutely revolting too. Shion was mind blown. How are there this many demons hiding on Earth, and seriously, why do they need to leech off humans anyway? Our main character gave him a deadpan look. Listen, when demons cross the border into the human world, their magic basically evaporates. To survive, they desperately need a substitute power source. If they don't find one, poof, they just vanish. Shion gulped in absolute terror. Oh man, so demonic possession is totally real. Alright, my magic tank is finally full, Ravis smirked. Let's test this out. Shion's jaw literally dropped at the insane aura exploding outward. Minho, what the heck is that? He smirked, finally getting it back. It was his personal demon, well, a partial summon anyway. Shion looked nervous. Is sending Street out solo a good idea? Ravis totally brushed it off. Relax. Her magic level is basically 0 right now. Nobody's gonna sense her. Cut to Street chilling upside down on a tree branch in full bat mode. Her tiny eyes snapped open. So hungry, she wailed. Seriously, I'm literally going to starve to death out here. Suddenly she spotted something. Wait, jackpot. She dive-bombed straight down, snatching a juicy maggot in her claws. Heck yes, dinner is served. But then she gagged. Wait, what is this? This nasty bug was dripping with Mara's dark magic. She had to warn Lord Ravis. Right now. Meanwhile, a sketchy car sped out of a parking garage. Inside, Hansu was shaking an unconscious Mina. Mom, look, I knocked her out perfectly. Did I do a good job? Mara cackled. Yes, perfect. Faster. Hansu immediately ordered the driver to floor it. Just as Mina started waking up, cut back to Street, flying in hot, muffled screaming with a gross worm in her mouth. The main character sighed. Spit it out first. I can't understand a word. Poof. Street shifted back to her human form, absolutely frantic. Lord Ravis, you need to see this. He grimaced. What is that? It reeks. Street looked deadly serious. It's definitely Mara's parasite. Looks like when Mara crossed into our world, she lost her original body and possessed a human. Our boy noticed those parasites. That means Mara's demonic soul is literally burning through her current human meat suit. She needs a new body fast. Shion realized something crazy. Wait, so last time she tried recruiting Mina, she just wanted to steal her body. Ravis crossed his arms, looking totally annoyed. Yeah, probably. Because honestly, Mara was always obsessively drawn to anything young and beautiful. He let out a huge sigh. She's way older than my own mother. That old hag really needs to chill out. Shion blinked in confusion. Wait, how old is Mom? Our main character did the math. In human years, roughly 6,375. Shion gasped in absolute shock. Wait, what? Then exactly how old are you? Ravis frowned. Good question. How old was he? It triggered a childhood flashback of his uncle showing him the human realm. Back then, humans were building something absolutely massive. Uncle Varkin laughed like a total maniac. Look, do you see that temple? They're building it just for me. He kept bragging that a low-tier demon god could never achieve this level of worship. Are you taking notes, nephew? Little MC just rolled his eyes. So, whatever. But then Bambi chimed in, perfectly ruining the mood. Lord Varkin, those humans definitely aren't worshipping you right now. They're actually worshipping the sun god Ra. Varkin completely lost his mind, brutally grabbing Bambi's hair. Say what? Why the hell are they worshipping the guy? I literally just beat up, Bambi panicked. How should I know? Varkin screamed. Whatever, I won, so it's mine. He laughed happily and hugged the kids. Back to the present. Shion said, dude, the pyramids were built 4,000 years ago. His age is absolutely insane. Street panicked. What's the plan? Lord Ravis's little sister might actually get eaten by Mara. Our protagonist nodded. Yeah, Mina was definitely on the menu. Meanwhile, over at this super creepy abandoned construction site, Mara looked up. A moonless night, the exact pitch-black sky from the night I was born. So dramatic. Hanu broke the mood. Mom, is this the right spot? Leaning on Hanu's shoulder, she slowly climbed up the broken stairs. Yes. A hidden crack right between the human and demon realms completely invisible to the gods above. But wait, she suddenly froze in absolute shock. What the hell is this? Dead bodies were scattered everywhere across the floor, bizarrely, completely covered in all these weird, colorful flowers. This creepy guy Bauer glared at them, visibly annoyed. Who invited you, and what exactly are you supposed to be? Mara wasn't having it. She introduced herself as Mara Bellix, demanding her chosen vessel. Bauer's eyes practically popped out of his skull in pure shock. Wait, what, you're Mara? A nasty smirk spread across his face. The big bad ruler of the Black Throne, now you're just a pathetic fugitive who can't even summon a basic monster. He claimed this territory as his own and told her to step off. Hanu casually approached a corpse. Seriously, who is this total clown? Bauer totally freaked out, screaming at him to be careful and not crush his precious flowers. Mara just sighed heavily. He's right. I'm practically nothing right now. I barely have enough juice left to keep this pathetic human body together, which is exactly why I brought my sweet children. They will protect me. Bauer sneered at them in disgust. What these little human demon mutts. He openly mocked her, calling a parent who hides behind their kids absolutely pathetic. Mara didn't flinch. Why do you care? I gave them life. Protecting me is their duty. She then ordered him to take his stinking weeds and beat it. Oh, that hit a nerve. Bauer snapped. Weeds, these are my sacred flowers. He charged forward, screaming about how nobody understands his art. Bam, Hanu just casually kicked him right under the chin. What the heck is this guy doing? Mara chuckled. Good boy, my son. Flashback time, we see Mara throwing an absolute fit. Her precious source of demonic souls was ruined. Do you know how hard I worked to steal that? She screamed violently, shoving bottles of glowing liquid down the kids' throats. Swallow it. This stuff, it's literally water from the Valley of Zerakim, the absolute deepest, darkest trench in the entire demon realm. Legend says that place is filled with the tears of the world's creator god. Basically, this water is an ultra-concentrated source of pure magical power. It's literally the only holy water strong enough to satisfy her endless greed. She cursed Vindica for stealing the demonic source back, completely ignoring it wasn't even hers. That vile idiot, she raged. It was a massive pity, but nothing could be done now. She made them drink it to act as bodyguards, while she searches for Sir Kale in the human realm. Anyway, cut back to Street's team sprinting through the Shion second-guessed everything. Are you absolutely sure she went this way? Street didn't hesitate. Mara's disgusting stench is getting much stronger. She is definitely here. Is there even a building out here? Street sighed heavily. Her smell is so overpowering now that my nose is officially completely useless. Shion looked serious. Minho, we absolutely must save Mina. MC just grabbed him firmly by the neck. All right, then we are crashing this party. Shion started panicking. Wait, me too, I'm literally just gonna get in the way. Ravis gave him an evil little smirk. Get in the way nonsense. You'll make a fantastic meat shield. A meat shield, Shion shrieked. Meanwhile, Street was desperately begging. Lord Ravis, please, just completely destroy Mara. But MC just dragged her along too. You're coming. We definitely need the numbers. Street looked horrified. Me too. She seriously started regretting all her wealth and fame right there. She knew she should have just stayed comfortably with Lord Bambi cut to the hideout. Mina was unconscious on the cold floor, a massive magic seal activating underneath her. Mara smiled contentedly. Good. Now hurry. And Bauer, the guy acting tough, he was literally on his knees, begging the Witch of Greed for mercy, swearing she'd need his help to survive in the human world. Just leave him to me, Mom Hanu scoffed. He was already drowning in problems, so why not let him handle this annoying pest too? Bauer immediately sucked up to them. Whatever you need, consider it done. But right then, a voice echoed out. What an absolute circus of a squad. A backstabbing traitor, a greedy fugitive kicked out of her own home, and to top it all off, those infamous half-breed twins. Honestly, they completely deserved each other. Mara spun around, pointing a finger. Him, Hanu blinked in total shock. Wait, Mina's brother. Shion was practically shaking. Are these dead bodies real? Our main character just glanced sideways. Young Mu. So that's where that guy ended up. Listen here, Shion. Without our hero's rescue, he'd be another corpse on the pile. From this second forward, absolute obedience was his only option. Got it. Shion trembled like a leaf, completely horrified. Pure nightmare fuel. So this was the actual terrifying demon world. Bauer frowned, clearly annoyed. Wait, he actually knows Young Mu. Did this guy just wreck his master plan? Mara smirked. She knew he wasn't just some ordinary human. Hanu was stunned. You see it too, my eyes are flawless. Mom, who even is this guy? Shion finally stepped up, screaming his lungs out. It's Lord Ravis Vindica, the legend who massacred the Bauer family exiled to this realm. He's the sole, ultra-precious heir to the great Demon King himself, Mara shrieked. Say what? Ravis Vindica, the infamous out-of-control son of Innis Bauer, totally lost it. Ravis Vindica, the literal executioner who slaughtered our people. But then he froze. Wait, this was his ultimate chance. Right now, he wasn't the unstoppable killer Ravis. He was trapped inside a totally pathetic human shell. Sweet payback for his fallen family was finally within reach. Mara shrieked in absolute rage. Innis, that unbearable idiot, actually sent her own son down here just to ruin her life. Our hero did the math. With his current nerfed stats, taking on all three was suicide. Plus Bauer was just waiting to backstab him. That absolute clown would have to wait. Squaring his shoulders, he sharply ordered Bauer to get lost. Bauer snarled. Did this guy really think he was still the demon world's terrifying overlord? He'd crush him right here. That is enough, our hero roared back. Walk away right now or get wiped out of existence. Your choice. Bauer squeaked in pure terror. Ravis then laid down the law. Go tell every demon down here that the Lord of Blood has officially arrived. Tell them to keep their heads down unless they want to be violently erased. Bauer was stunned. Magic inside, a flimsy human body. How is that even possible? He bolted, screaming in total panic. Damn it, our guy muttered. Look, old woman. If you want your youth back, prepare for absolute hell. You can't just casually hijack someone else's body. Mara glared, completely offended. Old woman, this arrogant little punk was asking for it. How dare he? She suddenly choked up blood, prompting Hanu to panic. Mom, please, don't push yourself. Wiping the blood away, she chuckled darkly. Sure, but she was dying to know. That precious golden child Innis guarded so carefully. How would she react when her twins ripped him to pieces? Ravis just gave a wicked smirk. Honestly, he was curious too. Imagine her face when she discovers her darling children were slaughtered by the son of the rival she spent her entire life envying. Mara's eyes went dark. Hanu. Hanong. Who's going to be the good child and bring mommy this arrogant brat's tongue first? Hanu manifested a brutal chain mace out of nowhere. Say less, Mom. Just give me a second. Meanwhile, Hanong drew her blade, channeling massive amounts of mana straight into the steel. Hanu barked at his sister to back off. One swing of his mace was more than enough to crush this loudmouth. He launched a massive strike, but our guy gracefully sidestepped it. Hanong immediately slashed her sword forward, yelling at her brother to stay out of her way. Get lost, Hanu roared back, furious that she was cramping his style. Hanong was just as pissed. Shut up and watch my blind spot, idiot. Our hero grinned. Zero teamwork, absolute perfect opening. He mocked them, pointing out they'd probably slaughter each other long before they even scratched him. Hanu shrieked in total frustration. Watch it, crazy, you almost decapitated me. Ravis analyzed the chaos. They were literally blocking their own attacks. Hanu was totally overconfident, while Hanong was just bitterly cynical. The absolute easiest duo to manipulate. Deflecting Hanong's blade, he shifted his stance, forcing her powerful strike to crash directly into her own brother's weapon. Hit me again, Hanu raged. Hanong aggressively clicked her tongue right as our hero swung his blade. Even as half-breeds, their raw power was absolutely off the charts. Seriously, what kind of twisted experiments did Mara run on these two? Swinging his mace, Hanu completely lost it. Nice try, Hanong, but I'm the one taking this loser's tongue. He charged in, but Hanong wasn't having it. And I'm taking his head. Our guy tried to evade the total chaos, but still caught a nasty graze. Hanong's eyes widened. He actually dodged that. Hanu unleashed another wild swing, screaming, You almost died, Ravis. Better watch your step. The kill had to be his. The twins suddenly rushed him in unison, with Hanong exploding with mana as she ordered him to drop dead. Just die, Ravis violently pushed off the ground, leaping backward. Damn it. He just didn't have the mana reserves to tank both of them simultaneously. It was a ridiculous gamble, but time for some classic trash talk. He casually mentioned how much stronger the older sister was. Hanu instantly exploded. What? Who are you calling older? I was born 18 minutes earlier. I'll end you. Our hero smirked to himself. Man, sibling rivalry is just too easy. Our guy started swinging his weapon like crazy. Han just rolled his eyes, absolutely disgusted. What an idiot, like why force a close-range fight? Hanu barked at her to shut up. He wanted to drag this fool's corpse straight to his mom. Our main character just thinking, yeah, right. The strikes got wilder, faster. But get this, the enemy was already trapped in his strike zone. Ravis swung his blade right over Hanu's head. Right then, Street charged at Mara, screaming at the top of her lungs. Lady Mara of the 12 Black Thrones. She used to respect this woman. But Mara let pure greed twist her into an absolute monster. Honestly, it was just completely pathetic. Oh, Mara hated that. Scary. She called her a pathetic fool. Street just closed her eyes, praying, Now Lord Xion go. Xion clenched his fists, bolting forward. He slammed his hands onto the magical dome, trapping Mina, screaming in sheer shock. Wait, why was it so hot? Or wait. Was it freezing? He squeezed his eyes shut and yelled desperately, "Mina, please just open your eyes." Meanwhile, Street engaged Mara, screaming loud battle cries. Her only goal, buy time. Shion absolutely had to save Mina. Bam! The barrier violently blasted Shion backward. He screamed, staring down at his deeply scorched hands, gasping hard for air. He balled up his fists. Yeah, he was just a normal human. Basically powerless here, but giving up, not happening. Shion yelled out, promising to save Mina and punch that dome again. But right at that exact second, Mara violently whipped Street with massive tentacles. Mara sneered. Time to stop playing these pathetic little demon games, don't you think? Street gritted her teeth. Even in a literally rotting body, her power was absolutely terrifying. Classic Black Thrones energy. Suddenly Mara swung again, screaming in rage. Did they seriously think a rotting body made her an easy target? Big mistake. Smash Street slammed into the wall, screaming in agony. Mara just laughed, telling her to watch closely. Time to crush this worm. Street screamed out in sheer panic. No, Master Shion, you have to run. Shion glanced over, totally confused. Bam! Disgusting dark sludge suddenly pinned him flat against the floor. He screamed, but Mara just told him to sit tight. She was literally draining his energy like a battery. Shion struggled to move, but his body completely paralyzed. Nothing worked. Mara aimed her hand at Mina. Dark mana flared up. She had wasted enough time on these losers. She locked in her magical seals and chanted, "I swear upon the soul-severing blade," she bellowed. "The moon of the vow, I entirely reject this disgusting, rotting flesh. Let the flames of pure greed scorch these veins, open the path, shatter the heart's gates, and turn the cycle of life completely upside down. Darkness, hear me, the vow is complete." Suddenly, Mina's eyes snapped open, glowing pure purple. Our main character saw it and screamed. Absolute nightmare scenario. He pumped explosive mana into his blade, charging straight at the twin brothers like a madman. Hanung instantly screamed, "Stop." But Hanu angrily whined, "No, I get him first." Out of nowhere, zip, a glowing thread wrapped right around Hanu, hog-tying him instantly. He yelled, "What the?" before magic tape literally slapped over his mouth. Face planted. Ji shushed him, pressing a finger to her lips. She glared down at the tied-up idiot. Did he seriously think he could torture her precious brother Ravis? Meanwhile, things got way worse. Mara's dark spirit shot straight out of her rotting vessel and perfectly merged into Mina's unconscious body. Mara burst into absolute maniacal laughter. Finally, she had secured total flawless perfection. She stood up over Yeonju's corpse, totally obsessed with her new look. Such a fresh body, she purred, stretching her arms. "Oh yeah, this is the feeling." She would flaunt this flawless beauty forever, Shion screamed in absolute terror. Street just shrieked, "No." Miss Mina Hanung launched an attack at our hero, mocking his distraction. "Where are you looking?" The guy gritted his teeth. Total nightmare. He was way too late. Off to the side, Ji peeked around a corner, totally fangirling. "Oh, brother Ravis. Those gorgeous lips," she whispered, blushing like crazy. His whole new edgy look was just absolutely breathtaking. Our hero lunged forward, yelling out. Watching this, the girl clenched her fists, trying to snap out of her weird crush. Belta's brother was in real danger. Thinking about him, noticing her, instant total panic, but she couldn't just hide here, admiring him. What was the play here? Meanwhile, tied-up Hanu tried to pathetically inch away. Hanung spotted him and froze. Wait, who the hell hogtied Hanu? Our guy swung his blade hard, launching an attack. Right then, Hanung screamed out in panic. "Mom, look at that idiot Hanu." Mara glanced over, deeply annoyed. "Hanu, seriously, what is your problem?" She ripped the magical tape off, and he immediately shrieked. "Where did that crazy girl go?" He angrily hopped up. Mara let out a dark little chuckle. "Looks like we have a rat." Hanu ignored that, asking eagerly, "Mom, did it actually work?" Mara dramatically threw her arms open wide. "Well, do you like my gorgeous new look?" "Oh yeah, Mom," Hanu cheered. "You don't look like your crusty old self at all." Shion crashed to his knees in despair. She really stole Mina's body. Was this really game over? Suddenly, Street screamed, "Lord Ravis, wait, there is still a chance Miss Mina's soul hasn't completely faded away yet." Our guy whipped around. "Wait, what?" Street yelled back. "Look up, it is a moonless night. Tonight, the moon is totally gone. The boundary between human and demon worlds is completely blurred. Magic, contracts, even souls. Everything is totally unstable right now. The night isn't over, meaning Mara's ritual is still incomplete. Lady Mina's soul, definitely still trapped in there." Mina shrieked in pure panic. Her body was moving entirely on its own. She begged brother Minho for help. Ravi stared, wondering if that was actually Mina's soul. Mara just cackled, mocking how perfectly she resembled the real girl. Our main character was furious. The nerve. But Mara just casually whined to Hansu about being totally exhausted. Her twisted solution, kill everyone. Hansu eagerly cheered for his mom, ready to slaughter them and crush that little rat. Our hero threw himself into the chaotic brawl. The sheer humiliation of struggling against these pathetic half-breeds drove him crazy. Mara smirked, asking if they were waiting for her. Time for a snack to recharge her power. Street shot her a disgusted glare as Mara wondered who looked the tastiest. Xion froze in terror. Suddenly, Mara noticed a weird round device resting on the floor. She stared at it, completely confused. Suddenly, a tiny hologram of our hero popped out, flashing with blindingly bright mana. Mara shrieked, totally caught off guard. The hero spun around in pure disbelief. Meanwhile, Mara gagged from the overwhelmingly holy stench. A sudden blur of motion dashed toward Street, ripping out the brutal spikes, pinning her to the wall. Street howled in pure agony. The mysterious rescuer slapped a heavy weapon into her hands, then sprinted straight toward Xion. Street's jaw dropped. It was Ji. She instantly freed. Xion shoved a weapon into his chest and begged him to help. Xion practically jumped in terror. He stumbled backward, staring at the strange gun like it was incredibly radioactive. Street inspected the heavy gear. Pure demon world technology. How in the world did Ji get her hands on this stuff? Xion was totally lost too. He gripped the heavy firearm completely clueless as thick demonic energy pulsed right through it. Suddenly, that dark energy violently swallowed him whole. He screamed in absolute agony instantly, knowing this was a massive mistake. Heart racing, brain completely short-circuiting. He literally couldn't breathe. Meanwhile, Mara glared at the smoking device, demanding its origin story. What was their plan? Boom Street ambushed her from the thick smoke, but Mara quickly deflected the strike. Did she really think those toys would help? Street roared that they weren't toys, but Mara just chuckled, acting like her ultimate victory was already totally guaranteed. To Mara, she was just worthless trash. But Street snapped right back. A greedy monster who abandoned her humanity couldn't judge her. Slice, a severed tentacle hit the floor. Mara casually stretched out her arm with a wicked smirk. Not just a toy. Honestly, if she just devoured everything here, none of it would matter anyway. Whip, she lashed out another thick tentacle and Street barely dodged. She counterattacked, but the demonic limbs were getting insanely tough. Her blade bounced completely off. Mara was fully adapting to this form. If this dragged out, they were all totally doomed. Mara flexed her claws playfully, wondering just how delicious a terrified fresh monster would actually taste. Wait Street spotted a crucial detail. A freaky umbilical cord linking straight to Yanju Mina was strictly an ordinary human. Her human body couldn't absorb Mara's overwhelming essence instantly. But that quick distraction totally cost Street her guard. Smash Mara violently launched her against the wall. Gasping for breath, Street knew she had to slice that cord connecting to Yanju. She must break that magic circle. Meanwhile, Xion finally snapped out of his painful daze. Breathing steadily again, he eyed the demonic gun, completely lost on what his next move should actually be. He checked the dome, locked onto that gross umbilical cord, and glared at Mara. Yanju's body was definitely fueling those tentacles. That meant the soul transfer wasn't finished. The complex magic circle was strictly there to protect the original body during the process. There was a chance he must destroy the circle. Suddenly, his very eyes physically transformed. The mystical structure broke down right before his eyes. Hold on, it was literally just complex geometry. He instantly fired up the control panel. Geometry equals shapes, and shapes easily convert straight into mathematical formulas. Break it down and magic is just hardcore math. This specific formula was keeping Yanju and Mina perfectly synced together. Time to solve this magical equation and hunt down the system's critical weak point. He rapidly typed the math. Barrier analysis complete. The center was simply a complex cubic polynomial. The mana flowed in an shaped curve. The main seal hid at the extremum point. Yep, our boy literally had to use calculus. Street noticed his frantic typing. Wait, a math formula. Was Xion literally hacking the demonic circle? That crazy demon gun actually let Xion analyze pure magic, but Mara violently smacked Street, demanding her full attention. Street gritted her bloody teeth, absorbing the brutal impact. She had to buy time while Xion played math genius. She had to stall, buy every single second she could. Meanwhile, our guy was at the finish line. He literally turned the magic circle into a math matrix, found the main diagonal, calculated the mana vector. The eigenvalue gave him the one absolute weak spot. Genius. That signature grin spread across his face. Gotcha. The critical weak point, wide open. He aimed his gun right at the magic circle. Your local minimum is your absolute doom. And he fired. Boom. A massive energy beam blasted out. The recoil knocked Xion flat on his butt, but that blast, it completely shredded the dome into pieces. Mara felt the shockwave and whipped around while Xion comically rolled across the floor. She lost her absolute mind. My magic circle, Xion just cracked up laughing. Math doesn't lie, lady, his crazy formula was perfect. Everything went exactly to plan. That masterpiece of a magic circle totally wiped out. But then his energy tanked and Xion totally passed out. As for Mara, she was panicking hard. Her body transfer wasn't even close to finished. Street looked at the unconscious Xion. You did good, kid. Now it was her turn to shine. She immediately bolted straight for Yanju. Mara completely freaked out. Wait, what are you doing? No hesitation. Street swung her weapon and completely slashed Yeonju's body. Mara practically had a heart attack screaming at her. Mara whipped her tentacles instantly, slamming Street into a wall. She scrambled over to Yeonju. No way was she letting them ruin her master plan now. She desperately grabbed the wound. My perfect, precious new body. Yeah, she was completely losing it. I'm not losing a single ounce of this flesh. Street just struggled up, smirking. Greed is like a tree, she said. It grows huge but eventually snaps under its own weight. And trust me, you're about to hit the dirt hard. Mara was fuming. Shut up, you annoying bug. She literally threatened to chew her down to the absolute bone. Street just gave this smug little smile. Your greed is about to burn to ashes. Isn't that right, Lord Ravs? Oh, it was true. Ravs was casually standing right behind Mara, holding her 2 kids hostage. Hanu was literally crying, apologizing to his mom. Wait, Ravs inhaled that weird red smoke and got a massive power-up. Mara's jaw dropped. No freaking way. It finally clicked. That smoke bomb from earlier, was it actually a massive power booster? Cut to G chilling behind a pillar with a huge grin. Thank God she secretly kept some of Ravs' original blood. She wanted it as a creepy souvenir, but desperate times called. Ravs had mentioned this before. His shiny new body had a super rare demon bloodstone embedded right inside. So if he somehow absorbed his own original blood, bam, instant access to his crazy old overpowered stats. So she gave him the ultimate gift. Our main character literally sprouted a badass demon horn. Man, it's been ages since I felt this good, he smirked. Mara absolutely lost it at her kids. You useless trash, 2 of you, and you can't even beat 1 guy. She forcefully pumped insane amounts of energy right through the gross umbilical cords attached to them. Boom, they broke out of Ravs' grip instantly. Hanu whipped a heavy chain right at him. Thanks for the buff, Mom. Time to die. Hanong completely went feral, lunging with her dual swords. They attacked together, but Ravs casually blocked both, like it was absolutely nothing. Even Mara jumped in, blasting tentacles everywhere. She screamed at him. Why would the supposed demon prince risk his life for some random human? She's not even your real sister. Ravs just parried the strike, smiled, and dropped the hardest line ever, because her cake was delicious. Mara was totally stunned. What on earth was this guy even talking about? The cake she gave me. It wasn't from this world, he said. It tasted exactly like heaven. Hanu screamed that he was completely losing his mind. You're a literal demon. Why are you even talking about heaven? Makes total sense, honestly. Ravs drew his blade. Have you 2 ever shared a cake? Hanong snapped back. Are you crazy? I'd smash it right in his stupid face, flash. Ravs' sword sliced right through her neck. Blood splattered across his face in a split second. He licked his lips. But then his eyes went wide. Flashback time, back when these villain kids tried so hard to make their mom proud. Little Hanung brought home perfect test scores, while little Hanu finished all the chores and just desperately asked for some food. And Mara's reaction, pure annoyance. She called them totally useless pests and told the hungry kid to just go drink water. She stormed right out the door, yelling that having kids was completely pointless, leaving them absolutely crushed. Good grades, chores, nothing earned even a crumb of affection. Fast forward to them hanging out at a cafe. There was this super pretty girl at the very next table, and some guy walked over trying to completely flirt with her. Mara was boiling with intense jealousy. She clicked her tongue, literally telling her kids that guys would hit on her too if they weren't around. Look at that totally fake smile, she muttered. She leaned in, telling Hanong how much she absolutely despised that random girl. And then, a hilariously petty idea hit her. She dashed over, completely tripped, and slammed right into the poor girl, spilling hot coffee absolutely everywhere. The girl immediately lost it, cursing up an absolute storm. Mara rushed right over, playing the perfect concerned parent. Are you okay? What am I supposed to do with my clothes now? The girl snapped back, totally furious. Mara quickly pulled her daughter away, faking this whole apology. She cheerfully promised to buy her a brand new outfit. But the second they left the cafe, Mara grinned. She hugged Han-Yong tight, praising her. You are so brilliant. I just adore you. Did you see her face? Acting like some perfect beauty, and boom, completely soaked Han-Yong. She was absolutely eating it up. That exact moment was the first time her mother ever actually praised her. Hanu desperately wanted that same attention. He begged his mom to let him handle it next time, promising he'd do it perfectly. She agreed. And right then, it finally clicked for Han-Yong. Torture anyone your mother envies, and you earn her praise. Beat down absolutely anyone your mother hates, you instantly become the favorite child. Zero hesitation. She completely soaked her own blade in blood, all just to make her mother smile. She actually asked so cheerfully, "Can I kill 2 next time?" The answer, yes. And her twisted mother rewarded her with the tightest hug ever. Kill the designated target, earn a mother's love. It was honestly that twisted, that simple. Our main character caught these memories and just laughed. Wow, raising them right, huh? Han-Yong instantly snapped, lunging at him with pure murder in her eyes. Hanu charged right behind her. I'm killing him first, Hanu roared. Their mother casually gave the order, finish him fast. Get this absolute annoyance out of her sight right this second. But our boy Ravis, he just readied his heavy sword. So this is what real demons look like. Then with one flawless swing, Hanu's arm was completely severed. He slowly shifted his gaze to Mara and smirked. In his mind, she had finally earned the ultimate honor, the absolute right to be slaughtered by his own hands. That look alone sent shivers down her spine. He had literally become an absolute battlefield monster. Hanu collapsed, clutching his bleeding stump and screaming his lungs out. His sister's only reaction, absolute idiot. Should have been careful. She violently lunged at Ravis. But he easily shattered one of her blades with a single strike, completely mocking her. "Aw, getting worried about your precious brother." Hanu, completely unhinged with rage, screamed right back. "You absolute fool, this is your fault. She should have just handled this alone." She spun around totally, ready to snap back at him, but he just frantically shrieked, "Just kill him already. End this guy right now or I swear I will kill you myself." She ground her teeth in pure fury. Our main character, just smiling, swinging his blade. "Yeah, keep fighting each other." Suddenly, Hanyang felt absolute paralyzing terror. She realized blocking was impossible. So what does she do? She ruthlessly grabs her own brother and uses him as a literal meat shield. The sword carved a massive, brutal gash right across his chest from left shoulder to right waist. He hit the floor, screaming his lungs out in absolute mind-numbing agony. Blood literally poured from the massive wound. Completely panicking, he desperately cried out for his mother. Mara's reaction, a deeply disappointed click of her tongue. Absolute useless trash. She immediately ordered Hanyang to drop the dying brat and keep fighting. And just like that, her blade slammed extremely hard against the sword of Ravis once again. Hanu felt his life slipping away. Lying in a massive pool of his own blood, he begged his mother not to abandon him. Then, his eyes finally closed. And Mara, she honestly could not care less. She aggressively whipped out her monstrous tentacles to back Hanyang up. "Just kill him already. Stop letting him resist in vain." Our hero brutally swatted those tentacles aside. One down, sure, but wait, the full body transfer of Mara was almost completely finished. If he waited any longer, Minho would be completely gone forever. He honestly had no clue how much more his own body could handle, but he absolutely had to risk it. He straight up grabbed her sharp blade bare-handed. He yanked her aggressively toward him, grabbed her head, and violently tilted it back, totally exposing her neck. Zero hesitation, he literally sank his teeth right into her skin. She screamed in pure agony. While literally drinking her blood, he locked eyes with her mother. Suddenly Mara was sweating, completely terrified. He finished, and Hanyang collapsed, totally drained. He crouched completely, ready to lunge. His insane plan, absorb enough blood to push this vessel to its absolute limit, triggering a massive instant power-up. And then he blasted straight toward Mara. Panic mode, she immediately fired off more tentacles, screaming at him to stay away. Swish slash, he diced them up in seconds. The closer he got, the harder she freaked out, desperately throwing even more gross tentacles his way. "Why will you not just die?" she shrieked. He kept swinging like an absolute madman, shredding every obstacle. But his mortal body, it was screaming, literally tearing itself apart from the sheer strain. It could barely hold on. His muscles felt like literally exploding, but this was exactly the opening he wanted. He smashed through her defenses, slipped right behind her back, and severed the umbilical cord completely. Mara violently spun around, shrieking in absolute horror. Did he really ruin her entire plan at the final second? No hesitation. Rava snatched her right by the throat, violently slammed her into the cold floor, and immediately started choking her out. She shrieked, totally helpless, desperately begging him to let go. Ravas just caught his breath, staring down. It is over. Her pathetic, rotten life was finally cut terribly short. "I absolutely cannot die, not by your hands," she stubbornly squealed. But Ravas, he just calmly leaned in, giving her one final bone-chilling warning. Leave the precious body of Minho right now completely voluntarily, and he would let her live. Mara stared up in total shock. Wait, is that actually true? He nodded boldly, swearing on the absolute honor of his father, the legendary Demon King himself. She figured this fool was terrified she'd blow the host body to pieces instead of leaving peacefully. A massive, twisted grin spread across her face. Sure, ditching this vessel sucked, but survival came first. Plenty of other bodies out there. She purred that the royal demon bloodline wouldn't dare break a promise. Family honor is on the line, right? Drop your weapon, she demanded. Do that, and she'd play nice. Honestly, she had literally zero backup plans anyway. In response, his glowing blood sword crumbled into dust. He backed off, demanding she exit the girl. She faked a frown, pretending to comply, then, bam, smirked, launched straight out of Mina's mouth and shrieked about what a gullible idiot he was. Except, he totally saw that coming. His arm flared with pure demonic energy, snatching Mara right out of midair. Shocked. Oh, she was absolutely speechless. He just laughed, asking how one of the 12 Dark Barons fell for something so completely obvious. Real talk, he had absolutely no clue how to exercise her otherwise. Realizing she got completely played, she started screaming absolute bloody murder. Wait, what about his father's honor? That royal oath he literally just swore. Yanking her nasty true form completely out, he smirked. Hey, he only promised to keep his personal honor intact. She thrashed wildly, shrieking at him to unhand her. She desperately refused to leave. Calling her an absolutely pathetic sight, he smirked and violently ripped the final demonic roots free. Instantly, the possessed girl slumped totally unconscious onto the floor. Now Mara was flailing those creepy tentacles, desperately begging for her life, promising to do literally whatever he wanted. Mid-grovel, she suddenly caught something from the corner of her eye. Hanyang was staggering up, gripping a blade. The girl was trembling, barely standing. But Mara, she was secretly cheering in her mind. Yes, stab this arrogant jerk quickly. Hanyang raised that sword high for a fatal strike. Our main character noticed this and glanced back, but honestly, he didn't even need to lift a finger. Because Hanu just violently impaled his own sister, whining that it wasn't fair she was trying to steal all the glory again. Not happening, he muttered. Drained of his final ounce of strength, he hit the floor, smiling. His sister gasped her last breath, dropping right beside him. Both of Mara's kids dead. And get this, she didn't care even a tiny bit. Instead, she just screeched at her son's corpse, calling him a useless moron for blowing their absolute last chance at survival. Ravis scoffed. The kid spent his whole life crying for mommy just to die like trash. Seeing his gaze, Mara immediately resumed her pathetic begging, promising to leave the host alone. I will find a different vessel, she pleaded. Then claimed she and his actual mom were basically sisters back in the day. You think I am lying? It is a fact. Go ask her yourself. I treated her like absolute royalty. Street watched in pure disgust. Her own flesh and blood just died, and she's still only trying to save her own skin. Some mother she is. Her response, we can just spawn more kids. She kept trying to manipulate Ravis, but he sliced off her main tentacle. She choked on her own agony. Her horrific head slumped over. Our main character just sighed, pitying the fact that a legendary Dark Baron was such a massive joke. Mara desperately tried to spit out curses, but only pathetic bubbling wheezes escaped her throat. Inside her mind, pure venom. How dare this brat mock me? I will butcher him, but yeah, way too late for that. Crunch. He stomped her ugly head completely flat, popping her into a gross puddle of demonic slime. He just watched the nasty goop pool across the floor. Suddenly, all of Mara's dark essence surged straight into his eye, every single drop feeding him an absolutely insane power boost. Exhaling heavily, he realized the nightmare was finally over. Street walked up praising the clean victory. Staring at his cursed arm, Ravis had to admit she was a top-tier boss after all. The raw power kept gushing. Pulling out a clean handkerchief, he immediately covered his nose. The smell in that room, literally bad enough to melt your face off. He grumbled about wasting so much precious time. Street just stared at the dead twins, wondering aloud about a totally different timeline, where Mara never invaded the mortal world. Could they have been a happy family with their actual mom, he asked? Ravis just shrugged. No way to tell now. Because honestly, even without demons involved, human greed gets innocent kids killed every single day. Meanwhile, someone was totally spying on them. Peeking from behind a pillar, she smiled. Mission accomplished, time to quietly bounce. Too slow, Ravis instantly snapped his head toward her. She panicked, ducking back, but he just sighed. I can literally see you. Come out. She awkwardly begged him to just pretend she wasn't there. He let out the heaviest sigh ever. Beltia. Hearing that name, Street's jaw dropped. Beltia wasn't just anybody. She was a legendary ancient weaponsmith from the underworld. The wildly spoiled youngest daughter of the incredibly powerful Martano clan. Yep, that was Lady Beltia, all right. A literal forging prodigy. That insane talent only drops once every 3,000 years. Our main character deadpanned, asking why she was stalking him. Darting out, she excitedly claimed Bonnet sent her down here as a special present just for Lord Ravis. Surprise. Anyway, bye. And just like that, this absolute weirdo vaulted straight out the window, vanishing into the night. Street just stared at the empty window, totally dumbfounded. Noting that the underworld's most arrogant, unpredictable noble girl was officially just Lord Ravis's personal stalker. But that face dead ringer for Jinhee. He ground his teeth together, totally annoyed. So what exactly is the problem here, he demanded. Boney, that absolute moron. He definitely shoved Beltia's soul straight into Jinhee's body. What a massive headache. Cursing under his breath, he promised that once they hit the demon realm, Boney was all hers. She could torture that idiot however she wanted. She acted all shocked, playing totally innocent right. Oh, I couldn't possibly. But then her eyes sparked. For how long, exactly? His answer was simple. He's yours forever. Cut to the demon world, Varkin is basically fanboying to his sister about the fight. He's like, I was shocked. He literally just chugged her blood. Like uncle, like nephew, right? She called it incredibly brutal. Then leaning in, she asked, so what did Ravis do next? He hyped up the scene. Using that stolen energy, our boy sliced her tentacles, crushed her skull, and went totally overkill. He actually covered his eyes, waving it off. Too gruesome, I honestly can't even describe the rest. A tiny smirk escaped her. Poor Mara. Varkin called her bluff immediately. If she was thrilled, she should actually smile, not just do that creepy little lip twitch. She snapped back instantly. Not happy at all, and he needed to stop using Ravis like some disposable chess piece. Mara ran to the human world and they took her out. Job done. With her troublemaker son playing human, she hasn't had 5 minutes of peace. Varkin casually shifted gears, mentioning their premium tea came straight from the Reuter clan. Supposedly, it's super rare luxury stuff, and honestly, she was enjoying every single drop. She took another sip. Totally unrelated issues, obviously. Varkin just laughed it off, said it was just a joke. Besides, now that Ravis finally unlocked his true demon powers, she could completely stop stressing out. Just kick back and enjoy the tea. But she instantly hit him with this massive death glare. Varkin Boni Gamadare. What exactly were those three scheming? Panic mode activated. He swore up and down the great demon king was clueless. Yeah, right. Like Boni could sneak a bloodstone into Ravis without the boss knowing. Please. Wait. Her eyes snapped wide open. It clicked. She leaped out of her chair, absolutely furious. Are you using my boy to hunt Morgath? He flashed a massive grin and nodded. Huge mistake. She totally tackled him, choking him out and screaming bloody murder. Gasping for air, he yelled that Ravis actually wanted this crazy fight. How could an uncle deny his nephew? She literally sank her teeth into him, screaming that she should have finished him off a millennium ago while he wailed in pain. Meanwhile, Boni's just chilling calmly, sipping his tea. Watching this chaos, Boni smirked. You know what they say. Siblings are just sworn mortal enemies reborn just to annoy each other for all of eternity. He placed his cup down, getting serious. Morgath, the absolute master of death itself. The literal god of destruction. Wiping out everything. Once his death wind starts blowing heaven, the demon realm, the human world, all of it, gone. Like falling dominoes. A ruthless mastermind. He wants to swallow the human realm and completely reboot the demon world. But wherever that guy is hiding, he better wait. Because Ravis is coming for him. Back on Earth, our main character safely carried Minho home, gently tucking her into bed. He watched over her quietly. Then he spoke to Minho's lingering soul. The debt for taking over this body, consider it paid in full. Bam, the door violently kicked open. Tyke stormed in, absolutely losing his mind. Why wasn't she at the idol training center? Why was she sleeping? Jui rushed in right behind him, panicking. She grabbed her son. What happened to her? Our protagonist played it cool, claiming she just got injured rehearsing. But Tyke, he exploded. A future superstar getting hurt, he immediately blamed our guy for this. Accusing them of a secret plot to ruin his reputation, Jui was horrified. How could he even suggest that? Tyke fired back. They hated her idle dreams. And hey, every single online article about Mina's success, the comments treated him like a hero. Were they trying to sabotage him out of pure bitter jealousy? Then this absolute scumbag actually ordered his secretary to snap photos of her unconscious body. They'd blame a crazy stalker. Boom. Instant PR, maximum sympathy, and a completely viral media stunt. Sick right, Ravis glared at this pathetic excuse for a human. This garbage stepdad had completely lost his damn mind. Our boy was ready to end him, but Jui finally stepped up. She unleashed pure fury, screaming at him to back off immediately. Look at the poor kid, is he blind? Tick just turned around, giving her an absolutely lethal glare. But she didn't care anymore. She thought he'd be a solid dad once. Instead, the absolute second her father died, this parasite stole her inheritance and completely milked her family connections for his dirty politics. And that still wasn't enough. Now he's exploiting Mina too. She was officially done. But Tyke fired right back, shouting how he rescued a delusional woman who chased a broke loser and popped out kids. Did she seriously forget? Her own father literally begged him to take them and promising endless gratitude. She ruined her ex and now she's ruining him. Just a bunch of absolutely ungrateful, useless brats. Our main character just stared at this guy, utterly disgusted. Every single word spilling from his mouth was absolute garbage. Like, is this thing really human? His patience, down to zero. Honestly, it's a huge tragedy that murder is illegal in the human world, but hey, a few shattered bones, totally acceptable. But then boom, Jui snapped. She straight up called him garbage and told him to shut up. Ravis was absolutely stunned while Tasik just exploded in pure, unadulterated rage. Wait, what did she just drop on him? She finally confessed. She only put up with his trash for the kids, refusing to put them through any more trauma. She wouldn't let them lose a father again. And this massive hypocrite, he actually wants to be mayor. Wild. Pure comedy. Through perfectly clenched teeth, he hissed that this absolute fool had completely lost her marbles. But Jui wasn't holding back. Puppet days over. From this moment on, she was going to be the literal hand wrapping tight around his neck. The main character just smiled. He thought she was weak. But right here, right now, she reminded him exactly of his own mother. Tas was absolutely furious, but he couldn't do a single thing, so he just threw a massive screaming tantrum. Meanwhile, over at Fort Voucher in the Middle East, absolute bloodbath. A demon just wiped out the entire base, leaving one terrified soldier alive while casually checking out the control panels. "So what do I press?" he asked. "Way too many buttons here." The soldier was basically crying in sheer panic, begging him not to touch the launch button. If those missiles fired, thousands of innocents wiped off the map. The demon's hand hovered over the big red button. He thought about it for a second and just hit it. "Isn't that the whole point of missiles?" he grinned. Instantly, massive red warnings lit up the entire screen. Warning: missile strike protocol initiated. The soldier absolutely lost his mind, screaming, "What the hell are you doing? Who even are you?" The guy just smiled, introduced himself as the devil, and left the soldier completely paralyzed in pure shock. Then he turned back, offering to spare the guy's life. Why? So he could run home and tell the whole world that Morgath was the one responsible. Fast forward, and the missile is already flying over foreign airspace. A mother stared up in pure horror while her innocent kid just pointed at the bright shooting star. And then a massive earth-shattering explosion wiped out countless lives. Morgath just casually watched the total destruction from the base. As the soldier cursed in despair, the demon ordered his loyal servant Shuya to fetch the fragment. Shuya vanished in a blink. Morgath just chuckled, wondering why humans spend insane amounts of cash and time building such beautiful destructive toys only to hide them away. Such a pity. But hey, thanks to that, he found the fragment by barely lifting a finger. Cut to the next day, Ravis met Xion, dropping the news about Jui's divorce. Here's the problem. If she actually goes through with dumping Jong Tasik, there's absolutely no way she can pay back the family's money. They absolutely cannot survive comfortably in this human world without hard cash. Bottom line, they desperately need money. Honestly, Ravis would love to just brutally murder the idiot right now, but rules are rules. He ordered Xion to secure the bag, leaving the guy totally confused on how. Ravis hyped him up, calling him the smartest guy he knew. Of course, Xion quickly pointed out that Ravis literally only knows his own family and himself. Classic. Our guy simply said, "Don't underestimate yourself." I mean, he built the app tracking traffic for that thing. Xion immediately panicked, slapping a hand over his mouth. "Are you absolutely insane? We cannot talk about that out in public." Ravis just swatted him away, completely annoyed. Like seriously, how dare this guy even try to touch him? Anyway, how much longer do they have to drink this awful human coffee? Time to bounce. But before they leave, they need to handle a certain annoying girl. He glared straight at a giant pink mascot bear lurking outside the cafe. He bluntly told the person inside Beltia to go back to the demon world. The bear totally played dumb, violently handing out flyers to avoid eye contact. Xion just sweat-dropped, noting that she completely ignored the order. Ravis sighed. She literally refuses to speak to him directly. Xion was curious now. Isn't she a legendary demon blacksmith? Why are they even connected? Flashback time. Before Beltia was even born, the terrifying Demon King gifted her father an eternal, unquenchable, magical flame. She was literally born inside a blazing forge, tossed straight into those magical fires before she could even blink. Her absolutely insane father just threw his hands up, commanding his newborn to embrace the Demon King's legendary fire. These flames, they were supposed to forge her destiny. The intense fire literally consumed her. Everything around her turned blood red, burning with impossible heat. Fast forward to her growing up. They brought her masterpiece straight to the Demon King, proudly announcing their legendary promise was finally fulfilled. Behold the Mace of Cocytus, an insane weapon that actually eats the lies of traitors, transforming their betrayal into deadly piercing shards of ice. It's pure, terrifying art. A weapon that turns suffering into perfection. A true masterpiece, forged by the absolute genius bloodline of the Myrto family. The Demon King was completely blown away. He admitted that this girl could flex on the entire demon world and absolutely nobody could complain. Staring at that deadly weapon, he knew all her hype was totally justified. This Mace of Cocytus, it was destined to become a legendary relic in demon history. That kid's blacksmithing skills were straight up unrivaled, easily the greatest of her generation. Then the king just sighed. He was super jealous, complaining that Myrto got a genius like Beltia, while his own useless son only caused him massive migraines. The count sighed heavily. The Demon King's words, yeah, they were totally stressing him out. But Gamadair just waved it off. "Forget about it," he said. "Just an old guy complaining." He happily took the gift, basically confirming a huge deal. From this day forward, the Martano family entirely controlled the future of the demon world's weapon industry. Once the big boss left, the count turned to his daughter. "Did you hear that? The literal Demon King just praised her work. She was their family's ultimate pride and joy." Suddenly, a super annoyed voice echoed down the hall. "Ravis." "Mom, let go," he whined. His mother wasn't having it, yelling that he desperately needed to work on his anger management. I mean, if the future ruler of demons just turns their fancy territories into absolute bloodbaths, where does that leave them, right? Was he trying to wipe out everyone? She reminded him, a true ruler needs to show mercy and actual kindness. But our boy snapped back mercy kindness. To him, acting soft just completely embarrassed the royal demon name. A king shouldn't hesitate. His mom pinched him harder, threatening to ship him straight off to his totally unhinged, ruthless uncle. Crying for mercy wouldn't work there. Ravis just grumbled like a grumpy teenager, completely despising Uncle Vark. Yep, that was Beltia's first glimpse of the prince. Fast forward a bit. Treated like a genius, her fire magic pushed her straight into hardcore alchemy training. 300 years. Just locked in a forge, playing with fire, crafting insane weapons, and literally mastering every magic trick possible. Cue the maid drama. One of them was throwing a fit, totally unfair. Corey had sneaked 3 entire demon fruits. The count gave them those and then made her clean the gross stables. Corey immediately defended herself, shouting it was a total accident. Honestly, she had to clean them. If she didn't, Scary Lord Tenton probably would have literally dangled her from the ceiling. The other maid pouted hard. Come on, she grumbled. You could have at least left me 2 out of 4. Have some manners. Beltia just smiled. Here, take my portion. Let's make it even. But Corey threw her hands up. That was literally yesterday. I've been starving all day. Can Juan and I grab a bite? Beltia, complete sweetheart. She happily gave them her food without a second thought. Juan practically tackled her with a huge hug. Seriously, why did the Count hide such a precious sweet girl from the outside world? Keeping her caged in a hot forge was just messed up. But Beltia defended him. Her dad promised the second he claimed the Dark Throne she was finally getting out of there. Corey's eyes lit up. Oh, I seriously hope that day comes super fast. We're absolutely hitting up the royal castle so you can finally meet Prince Ravis. Just hearing the prince's name made Beltia blush and smile like crazy. See, being stuck inside forever, the maid's daily drama, their petty little arguments, their totally chaotic friendships, their juicy gossip about romance, was basically her only entertainment. It kept her sane, until everything went completely wrong. Born in the heat, raised in the soot, her entire existence was trapped inside those walls like a glorified prison cell. Fast forward. As she cracked the insane secrets of dark alchemy, her magic skyrocketed. The problem, her power levels got way too massive for her to actually control. Boom. One afternoon, right in the middle of crafting, the energy just backfired. She screamed in agony as her own fire literally started burning her alive. Her loyal maids panicked and sprinted over to help. But Beltia, she frantically waved them away. Stay back, don't come near me. Too late. A massive wave of fire accidentally exploded from her hands. Their terrifying screams echoed everywhere. The heat instantly swallowed them whole, leaving absolutely nothing but ash and bone. Seeing the destruction, Beltia completely broke down, sobbing. Time dragged like boiling metal, making things worse. Her raging fire spun totally out of control, practically vaporizing everything in sight. She dropped to her knees in the ruins, letting out a soul-crushing scream. After that nightmare, 0 regular demons ever dared to step foot near her workshop again. Eventually, her dad showed up. He looked at her and declared she was now the literal living embodiment of fire. Heartbroken, Beltia just shook her head. She couldn't handle it anymore. She desperately wanted out. Oh, he was furious. Are you insane? He snapped. Leaving was completely off the table. What if some rival clan kidnapped their golden goose? That would totally ruin the family. They had just finally secured their epic rank among the legendary 12 Black Barons. Or did she want more innocent people like Corey and Juan to burn? Hearing their names, Beltia physically flinched. No, she whispered, absolutely crushed by the guilt. Fine, she'd stay locked up forever. Seeing her broken spirit, the Count just smirked, totally satisfied. Just like that, Beltia was completely utterly isolated. Decades flew by. Honestly, random sticky notes with weapon orders left at her door became her only social life. Her old memories just rusted away like complete junk. Any proof she even existed basically burned down to absolute ashes. Just when she completely gave up on everything, something wildly unexpected finally happened. Flash to a stormy night. Prince Ravis and his buddy Bonet totally sneaked inside, Bonet whining as usual, swearing and regretting his entire life choices. He was completely soaked. The main character just rolled his eyes. Stop whining already. Look, the future Demon King needed an epic weapon right now. His dad was being super stubborn, saying he wasn't ready yet. So, time for a secret heist. Rumor has it, you just speak your wildest wish out loud here, and the local alchemist makes it a reality. Our guy absolutely had to test this out. Bambi asked what kind of weapon he was after. His answer, the most flawless sword in the entire world, so they needed to find this maker fast. So who is this legendary alchemist? Well, these 2 idiots just stroll right through the forge, completely ignoring Beltia, who is literally staring at them in absolute confusion. Bambi admitted he was only going off crazy rumors, so he honestly had no clue. He mumbled, his name is Beltia. Get this. Ever since this absolute genius showed up in the Martano family, a clan famous for torture devices, they claimed one of the 12 Black Thrones. So yeah, this alchemist, definitely not some amateur. Right now, they are literally supplying weapons to every single monster inside the Demon Lord's castle. Bambi decided to poke fun at Ravis, calling him the only exception. Ravis instantly annoyed, telling him to shut it. Is all this hype even real? He just wanted to meet the guy already. Our main character was genuinely curious. He glanced around the empty room, asking where this legendary smith was even hiding, the heat in there absolutely suffocating. Meanwhile, Beltia just stood there in dead silence, squinting at the handsome guy and thinking, wait, is that Prince Ravis? Were these two seriously looking for her? I mean, she is the legendary genius alchemist from the terrifying Martano clan. She nervously bit her lip, completely embarrassed, practically screaming in her head for them to look down. The ultimate alchemist is standing right here. And then finally, our main character spotted her. He blinked. Who the heck is she, and how long has she been standing there? He asked if she had seen a genius alchemist around. She was totally starstruck. Prince Ravis was actually talking to her, but Bambi suddenly panicked, begging Ravis to run. If they got caught sneaking around in here, it was instant game over. Ravis demanded to know why, insisting they wouldn't get caught while loudly dropping his real name. Bro, are you even using your brain right now? Too late anyway. Beltia shyly squeaked out her name, revealing that she was the Master Smith. Bambi's jaw hit the floor. Wait, a tiny thing like you is the legendary alchemist. No way. The rumors claim this creator was a massive, bloodthirsty monster. People literally said ordinary demons would burst into flames just from making eye contact. She blinked in shock. People were spreading those crazy rumors. Our boy stepped closer, looking down. Turns out she's just a tiny girl. Proof you can never trust the rumor mill, he bluntly asked. If you are really Beltia, can you forge a sword? She stared up at him, completely stunned as the most ridiculous chain of logic sparked inside her brain. Small means cute, and cute means beloved. Therefore, by anime logic, he just called her a total cutie to stop himself from screaming with joy. Blushing furiously, she slapped both hands over her mouth and squeaked out that, yes, she could make it. He lit up instantly. Awesome, what do you need? And her totally casual response, to melt these rare materials in the ultimate flame, I am going to need your soul. Ravis raised an eyebrow. Wait a second, did he literally have to set his soul on fire? Honestly, he did not want a weapon that badly. Panicking, she quickly explained, he just needed to open up so she could observe him. His core soul, his mana, his entire path. Skeptical, he asked how she planned to see all that. Her simple answer, she was just going to keep watching him. Since Ravis was finally looking at her with genuine warmth, well, in her mind at least, she secretly swore to use every ounce of her genius to craft this blade. From that exact day forward, she gathered her courage and left the safety of her forge to keep an eye on him. She conquered her fear just for him. She started spying on every training session and finally witnessed it. That razor-sharp jawline, those deep sculpted collarbones a girl could literally drown in. She saw the goods, and oh boy, she was in absolute heaven. She ended up stalking Ravis for a long, long time. He definitely suspected a creeper was following him around, but honestly, he just let it slide. Beltia poured every waking second into forging a blade that could match his brilliant soul. And after an eternity of work, she actually pulled it off. A masterpiece designed to literally fuse with Ravis's soul. The legendary blade Demal. She finally created a weapon exclusively for him. She packed all her elite knowledge into this blade. But then, a massive new problem. The sword was totally done. But how on earth was she supposed to hand it over now? She was dying of embarrassment. What if he hated the sword and rejected her? Panic mode engaged. Bam! The forge doors suddenly blasted wide open. Our main character stormed in, visibly annoyed, and demanded she finally hand over his damn weapon. Wait, how much time had passed? How much longer was she just gonna watch? Literally 100 years had gone by. His sudden entrance terrified her. Her brain spiraled. What if he is totally disappointed? What if he calls it a trash piece of iron that couldn't even slice a monster's tongue? What if he absolutely explodes in anger? What happens to her then? But he just took a deep breath, calmed himself down, and held out his hand. He dropped the news he was leaving tomorrow to slaughter the Zoganan traitors. So he came personally to ask for the sword right now. Her eyes went wide with absolute shock. Wait a second. Did he just say he came to ask her? Does that mean he is actually begging her? Seeing how desperately he wanted this blade, her heart exploded with joy. In a total panic, she grabbed Demal, shoved it straight into his hands, and then happily sprinted away to go hide. He was just thrilled. The weapon was finally finished. Meanwhile, as he admired the blade, she was curled up in a trembling ball under the table internally, screaming, she actually did it. She finally gave it to him. She held her breath. Silence. In her mind, she was absolutely toast. Pure panic set in. Was he gonna yell? But then plot twist, he actually called the sword an absolute masterpiece. The balance flawless. It took his magical energy and just completely made it its own. Tomorrow he was wiping the floor with everyone. He asked for the name, and totally flustered she mumbled out the Lord of the Bloody Dead Demal. He absolutely loved it, said it sounded amazing, gave a quick wave and was gone. He promised he would never forget her help before walking off. She just stood there totally stunned, repeating that promise in her head. Wait, did that mean his eyes would only ever be on her? Oh, she was over the moon. That was the exact moment it hit her. For the first time, burning in flames right after birth felt incredible. She wished for one thing with everything she had. Her fiery destiny must belong to him alone. Right then, she made a vow. Her eyes on him forever. An eternity together, but with one massive catch. No touching. Why, her flames would completely destroy him and she couldn't let him burn away. Anyway, that is the wild backstory Xion got told. Everything finally clicked. Ravis chimed in saying, yeah, the details might be a little blurry, but that is basically how it went down. So why wasn't he even looking at her now? Simple. Looking at that face gave him straight-up post-traumatic stress. Beltia, though, she was internally screaming with joy being near Ravis. The only reason she hadn't passed out was because she wasn't using her real face. Our main character told his servant to step aside. He had burning questions and he wanted answers fast. He faced Beltia totally serious. He had to know ever since taking that shot, his body had been acting completely weird. Borderline crazy levels of hype, which is so not his usual vibe. And his heart, beating out of his chest at totally random times. His vision blurs out, cold sweats out of nowhere. He literally cannot breathe, and this massive wave of anxiety just completely crushes him. Instantly, her demeanor changed. Dead serious, she said she knew exactly what this was. His eyes lit up. Was it some dark, magical influence? Nope. She deadpanned right back. Dude, that is literally just a classic panic attack. He just stared at her, utterly defeated, hoping this was a joke. It wasn't. She doubled down, 100% full-blown panic attacks. The symptoms matched perfectly, and oh yeah, don't forget the whole split personality situation. Now he was just pouting. He asked, wait, wasn't this some badass demonic synchronization side effect because his physical body was perfectly compatible with underworld weapons? She completely shut him down. What kind of main character delusion was he babbling about? It is anxiety. Go see a regular doctor. Just get some prescription pills, and it will all pass. That absolutely crushed his dreams. Ravis just laughed, pointing out how wild it is to have rock-bottom self-esteem and a massive god complex simultaneously. Split personality perks maybe. He whined that they were being way too mean. Let a guy dream. Then Beltia got serious, explaining that every single soul has unique energy. Whether you are an angel, human, or demon, it differs. And if the physical body holding that energy bites the dust, the soul goes too. Xion asked if that was literally all she saw. She nodded. She reads the customer's soul, figures out exactly what kind of energy they are missing, and crafts a weapon custom-tailored to fill that void. But here is the catch. She only tops up existing energy. She cannot magically create it anew, which is exactly why getting a perfect read on the customer's soul is absolutely crucial. So he asked, was he only hyped about the gun because it perfectly matched his totally different second personality? Exactly. This hidden personality he had zero clue about suddenly surfaced, and she just built a gun that matched its crazy energy perfectly. He just dropped his head in total defeat, muttering that he never saw this unhinged side of himself coming. Our boy pointed out she was being super chatty today. Cue the massive blush. She slammed her giant bear mask back on, yelling she was done. The only reason she hadn't completely panicked yet was because she wasn't in her real body. Her social battery was dead. Time to run. He groaned, asking where the heck she thought she was going. If she was going to be annoying, she might as well just scurry home. She whipped right back around, totally offended. No way. He promised they would be together for eternity, so she was sticking to him like absolute glue. Cue the massive panic. She shrieked, her face bright red, and literally bolted away, screaming that she didn't know anything anymore. Xion just stood there looking super confused. He turned to Ravis and asked, wait, is she really his type? Ravis snapped back, telling him to shut up. He never said that. Then he clicked his tongue, muttering that this was all that idiot Bambi's fault. He literally glared up at the sky, screaming out, was that jerk looking down and laughing at him right now? He yelled at him to come down and face him like a man. And then boom. Bambi just casually spawned right behind him. Talk about a jump scare. He absolutely leaped out of his skin, spinning around in pure shock. Holy crap, did he actually just summon the guy? Was he sent down as a prisoner too? Nope. The guy totally rubbed it in. He was here as an official envoy. Then he just casually grabbed Xion for a hug. Welcome to the club, glasses. He joked that brainy guys absolutely needed to stick with thick-headed muscle like the main character to survive. Xion felt super awkward. He gave a stiff greeting, muttering that he had already heard of him. But this guy wasn't having the stiff manners. Friend of a friend is my friend. He told him to completely drop the formalities. Our boy was absolutely livid. Friends, you're literally a traitor, he yelled. But Bambi just sighed. Did he seriously still not get the big picture? Take 1 second, Bambi pushed, and actually think. Why did they really send you to the human world? Simple, right, because he was a convicted sinner. But then Bambi hit him with the real question, so why give him the overpowered bloodstone? Duh, to suck up to the great Demon King's son, he shot back. Bambi just rubbed his temples. Did this guy ever actually use his brain? I'm just stating facts, he grumbled. Bambi looked utterly exhausted at this point. Well, if you're gonna be like that, nothing I can do. Go ahead then. Keep dwelling on those facts while you just die inside that fragile human body. Okay, that got his attention. He demanded to know their real plot. Bambi leaned in. Remember Morgath, the ancient prisoner locked in the human world? Yeah, he's making a move. Ravis instantly dropped the comedy act, dead serious now. Bambi dropped the bomb. Morgath was starting the reverse creation of Circle. His goal, completely nuke the heavens, the human world, and the demon world. Meanwhile, cut to an underground gambling house. A guy named Namuja was aggressively hammering away at a loud slot machine. Bust. Again. He violently smashed the machine, absolutely screaming that he just wasted 3 whole days of his life on this stupid thing. Spit out my cash right now, he raged. Bauer calmly walked up, practically begging the guy to chill out and get a grip. He tossed a few measly coins his way. Look, it's not a lot, Bauer sighed, but it's enough for one more spin. Go crazy. Namuja snatched them up. No clue who you are, buddy, but the second I hit this jackpot, I'm paying you back double. Just watch. Clink. He yanked that lever down hard. The reels spun fast, and the anticipation for that sweet jackpot was absolutely thick in the air. Actually, I need to tell you something important, Bauer started to say. Ding ding. Clunk. The reels stopped. Total bust. Not a winner. He was off by literally one symbol, but the guy sitting right next to him, absolute pure luck. Sirens blared massive jackpot. Namuja slowly turned absolute murder in his eyes. He raised his hand to snap his fingers right as Bauer blurted out that Ravis was trapped here. Namuja locked eyes with the winner and snapped. Boom! The neighbor's slot machine instantly exploded and the poor guy's clothes burst into actual flames. Total panic. While people frantically tried helping the guy, our villains casually strolled for the exit. See, Namuja grumbled. The jackpot hits for literally anyone else. Talk. Now. Ravis is seriously locked up here. Bauer gave this massive, excited grin. He was totally thinking, didn't the boss order everyone to spread the word? So he immediately brought this spicy report straight to Lord Namuja. Back to our main crew. Bambi spilled all the tea and Ravis put it together. So you 3 schemed to throw me down here to stop Morgath, but isn't he using his original body? And your big master plan was to trap me in this squishy, weak human shell and just expect me to casually fix everything. Bambi shook his head. Morgath isn't exactly a full demon anymore either. The guy has been rotting in this realm for literally centuries. But get this. Over those hundreds of years, the crazy bastard actually re-engineered his own anatomy, turning himself into this insane demon-human hybrid. Shion's eyes went wide. Wait, so he juggles both demonic magic and human energy. Is that why you modified Ravis with a bloodstone to match him? Bambi just smiled and gave Shion this patronizing little pat on the head. Bingo. He noted that smart guys like him never disappoint. Our boy was still stuck. But why me? Bambi looked him dead in the eye. He was literally the only one in the entire demon world capable of handling him. But here's the massive catch. If the literal heir to the great Demon King just casually marched down into the human realm officially, heaven would absolutely lose their minds. Free excuse to declare all-out war. So, they had to pull this massive scam stuffing his soul into a human vessel. Plausible deniability at its finest. Heaven can't blame them. Ravis glared at him, super annoyed. Okay, so why not just explain the plan to me from day one? Bambi just laughed at that. Oh, please. If I had pitched this insane idea to you up front, would you have actually agreed to take a human body? You would have thrown a massive tantrum screaming that you absolutely weren't going anywhere. Checkmate. Our main character nervously ground his teeth, completely silent because, yeah, fair point. Fine, he bit out. So you want me, a modified ex-con, to stop Morgath, save all these squishy humans, and somehow stop an apocalyptic war between heaven and the demon world? Exactly. Because if a demon army crosses over, heaven calls it an attack and brings their army too. So boom, absolutely zero backup coming. Bambi looked weirdly proud. Look at you grasping complex politics. You're getting smarter. And hey, even though you were literally our first test subject for the Bloodstone, they definitely designed his upgrade way better than whatever Morgath did. So relax, Bambi cheered. Ravis gave him the hardest side-eye ever. Was he seriously supposed to just trust that? Bambi clutched his chest? Bro, what's wrong? I'm your best bud, Bambi. He casually threw an arm around Shion. Plus, he'd already absorbed Mara's power, and look, he even had a smart little sidekick friend to help out. Shion instantly raised his hand, pointing out he never actually agreed to help. Meanwhile, the horrifying truth hit Ravis. Wait, did my dad literally abandon me? Hold up. Did his uncle seriously just say he was sick of him, completely betrayed him, and decided to become the Demon King himself? He shot straight up from his chair. Total disbelief. What kind of absolute nonsense was this guy even spouting? Seriously, how was he supposed to take down Morgath in a weak body like this? But get this, the guy casually replied that he had already sent backup. Beltia, no way he could pull that off. Was he scared? That assumption absolutely pissed him off while Bonnet just started laughing right in his face, calling him a cowardly brat. Oh, he was seeing red. He clenched his teeth, slammed both hands on the table and yelled. Was he seriously trying these cheap provocations? Why could he not handle it? Challenge accepted. He swore he would absolutely crush that idiot Morgath with his own 2 hands. Bonnet just kept pushing his buttons, daring him to try, telling Ravis to go ahead and risk his life, and our guy barked back that he could easily do anything. Xion just stared at him, completely mind-blown. Is he actually this stupid? Then our main character had to ask, since when exactly is Beltia considered backup? She completely gets on his nerves. And honestly, since he is already here, he might as well just drag her along. Dead serious, he replied that staying right next to him was her safest bet. Total confusion. What did he mean? Had he completely forgotten what Mortanos actually are? Oh. Right. Now the pieces were finally clicking into place. But right then, boom. A mysterious letter literally materialized on the table out of thin air. Xion just blinked. What in the world is that? A Joker card hologram popped out of the seal, announcing he was invited as a VIP guest, the host, Lord Namuja. Wait. Ravis frowned. Did that absolute idiot not just break out of prison? Bonnet was genuinely shocked. The escaped convict was just showing his face voluntarily. Yeah, he told Ravis to handle this absolute mess entirely by himself. Time was up for the messenger, so he had to bail. He patted Xion right on the shoulder and casually suggested he press the glowing seal. So what does he do? He reaches his finger right toward it. You mean this thing right here? Pure panic. Our main character lunged forward, desperately screaming at him to stop. But nope, way too late. The exact second his finger made contact zap, both of them got violently sucked straight into the letter, screaming their lungs out. Bonnet just cheerfully wished them luck. Classic. Next thing they know, bam. They are standing inside a flashy casino. Ravis was absolutely furious. He literally just said not to touch anything. His headache was already massive thanks to Jong Tasik, and now they were trapped in this shady underground dump. Xion just looked around completely clueless. Hey, if we win a bunch of cash here, can we actually take it back to the real world? Ravis glared at him. Does this kid have a split personality or something? Forget the money. Their actual lives are on the line, so he better snap out of it and stick close. One single chip could literally cost him his actual head. That reality check completely terrified Xion. He glued himself to his side, nervously scanning the incredibly dangerous room. Meanwhile, plot twist, Street was hiding in the air vents, transformed into a rat camera phone recording, keeping a very close eye on her target. As the human world jailer for condemned demons, she tracks everything. Her absolute pride, knowing absolutely no one ever slips through her fingers. But honestly, ever since meeting Lord Ravis, her prisoner surveillance has been a total mess. So he was next in line after Mara. Right now, her target was Tasik. Ravis wanted it all, the account numbers, the safe combos, everything. It was honestly embarrassing. Imagine being the fearsome overseer of demonic prisoners, just miserably waiting around for some guy to type in his password. Down below, Tasik was nervously chewing his nails. In just 1 week, people would officially be calling her the wife of the Incheon mayor. But now, was she seriously keeping him on a tight leash? What an incredibly arrogant woman, unless she actually had real dirt on him. Suddenly, his frantic secretary burst into the office. The latest election polls, they had just drastically shifted. He viciously snatched the tablet right from his hands. Seeing those numbers, he started swearing loudly. His rival's popularity had just absolutely skyrocketed overnight. Secretary Kim nervously explained. That fatal accident with the Haemon construction worker was tanking his ratings. Tasik exploded. The idiot tripped and died on his own. How was that his fault? Blind with rage, he smashed the expensive tablet straight into the floor. He had everything perfectly under control until this mess. The secretary just stared at the floor, apologizing constantly. After all, thanks to Mina, they had been dominating the polls before this. Tasik pursed his lips. You could practically see the wicked gears turning in his head. What if he just eliminated everyone all at once? He instantly dialed Director Hong. Fake, cheerful voice activated. He casually brought up the massive construction site for the Incheon Station transfer hub. Here was the catch. If he actually became mayor, Haemon would not be allowed to take over that juicy project. But he thought Hong was perfect for it. Hong was not stupid. He asked what the price was. Tasik just laughed. Come on, are they not partners? Who keeps track of favors between friends? Though honestly, he was falling just a few votes short right now. He desperately needed to squeeze some pity out of these voters. Could Hong maybe orchestrate a little something to help? Deal secured. He hung up the phone with a mocking smirk. Unbelievable how far that low-level thug had actually climbed up the ladder. Still, as a construction director, the guy picked up on the dirty hint instantly. Tasik then turned sharply to his secretary. Where exactly is Jui right now? She went to the hospital with Minho, he replied. Then a wicked grin crossed his face. Luck was totally on their side today. Get their exact location and send those coordinates straight to Director Hong. After that, he'd personally handle the rest of this mess himself. Hearing this, Street absolutely panicked. Minho and her mom were walking right into a deadly trap. She scrambled toward the ventilation exit. She had to warn Ravis about this absolute nightmare right now. Meanwhile, Beltia finally finished her grueling shift. Ripping off that massive mascot suit, she collapsed on a bench. Honestly, forging weapons in a literal furnace would have been much cooler. Bombay suddenly popped up behind her. What exactly was she doing here? She jumped completely startled. Then pure rage. She called him a total idiot and literally choke-held him. She yelled that she was already losing her mind today, so bumping into him was her one lucky break. He just smiled. Why did everyone get so incredibly stressed out in this human world? Tears of absolute frustration just exploded out of her. Why did he send Ravis to a rich mansion but dump her into some beggar's body? She's working around the clock just to survive here. But wait, it gets even worse. The second she steps outside with her face uncovered, literal psychopaths immediately try to murder her. Lunatics constantly chase her down, screaming about a blue bow and demanding she give them their face back. Absolute nightmare fuel. She just runs in sheer horror. Clutching her head, she screamed out loud. Who the hell was this girl? Banbei gave an awkward smile. He explained that before dying, Ji literally just wanted to find a purse of coins. Yeah, maybe he should have let her find that cash first, before sticking her soul into this body. She glared at him. Did he really think a single purse of coins meant a good life? He calmly replied she didn't see the big picture yet. Her ultimate dream was coming true. Wasn't that amazing? Wiping her eyes, she snapped. What dream was he even talking about? He reminded her. She wanted freedom. Living for herself, doing whatever she wanted instead of serving the clan. She touched her chest, really letting that sink in. Here in the human world, she only had to work when she felt like it. Total freedom to do whatever she wanted. She went dead silent. But then, she looked back at that stupid bear mascot suit. Rage flared up again, and she aggressively grabbed his collar. She screamed that she'd only been here 2 seconds, and she was already getting slow-roasted alive inside that fuzzy torture chamber. She shook him like a rag doll while he desperately apologized. He was rushing back then, okay? It was the best option available. She had to understand that. Nope. She slammed him straight into the dirt, screaming that she absolutely did not get it. Groaning, he slowly stood up, massaging his bruised back. Beltia bit her lip, fists clenched tight, gathering courage. She had to ask, what exactly went wrong with her original body? Did they grind it up thoroughly? Banbei stood straight, answering dead serious. Oh yeah, they ground everything perfectly. Not a single fingernail left. He personally checked it. She flinched. That probably hurt a lot. Burning it would have been so much better. She was totally used to fire. Banbei just sighed her name with deep regret. Suddenly, Street's absolute panicked voice echoed behind him. What was he doing here? And hold on a second, was she, Lady Beltia, actually here too? Banbei calmly noted it had been a while. But Street, she sprinted over, grabbed him, and violently shook him while screaming a string of absolute nonsense. Password hidden cameras. His mother is totally going to die. He begged her to calm down and explain things in order. She yelled that everything was a total disaster. She was tailing him to get the password for the Jung family bank account. But then she heard it. Jung Taik, to win the mayor election, that Psycho plans to hit Lord Ravis's mother with a car. She literally heard him hiring a thug over the phone. Beltia frowned, completely confused. How does his wife dying help him become the mayor? What was she even talking about? But Banbei instantly connected the dots and gasped in absolute shock. Wait, is this guy really sacrificing his own wife just to farm sympathy votes from the public? Honestly, you'd think the guy was an actual demon, not a human. Beltia just stared at him. How did he even figure that out? Street frantically scanned the area around them. She could sense a hint of Lord Ravis's energy nearby, but couldn't spot him anywhere. They had to tell him this terrible news immediately. Banbei suddenly remembered the whole invitation setup and was just about to explain everything to her. But nope, clock is ticking, no time for stories. He stepped up and quickly asked if she knew his mom's exact location right now. She guessed they were somewhere around the hospital with Lady Minho. Banbei didn't hesitate. Time to move out right this second. Beltia was tagging along too. Meanwhile, guess who finally showed up? Namuja. He laughed wickedly, telling Ravis it had been way too long. Oh, the absolute irony. The mighty noble prince of the demon world, stuck here in the human realm, trapped inside a sinner's body. He was going to absolutely enjoy devouring him. Man, during their time apart, the great prince had truly hit rock bottom. A high school student. Seriously, what a total joke. But our main character didn't flinch. He coldly reminded him that prison should have taught him to repent. But instead of reforming, he broke out of jail and caused this entire massive, chaotic mess. Bauer peeked from his little hiding spot, warning Lord Namuja. Watch out, he hissed. This guy is actually using real power while stuck in a human body. Our main character glared at him, absolutely unimpressed. Namuja just laughed it off, promising things would be different this time. Namuja actually loved that. If our guy could use powers, perfect. The stakes were about to go sky high. The dude had been on a massive losing streak, super cranky about it too, but now he sensed a jackpot. Tossing a casino chip down with this arrogant smirk, he basically dared our guy to bet. Back in the demon world, Namuja was literally the head executioner. His special ability, he could absolutely wipe condemned sinners right out of existence. Zero trace left behind. Even the absolute scariest demons, the ones who usually fought back, would totally freeze up around him. Escape, not happening. They would just drop to the floor, terrified. Take this one guy, Bezra. He got dragged in for illegally eating a weaker demon using completely forbidden blood magic and running some shady mixing ritual without a permit. Boom. Broken demonic laws, specifically Articles 47, 89, and 131. Total violation of the rulebook. The verdict, immediate execution. Right there, on the spot. Game over. Bezra was not having it though. He started screaming that this was completely unfair, totally against the rules, and actually managed to snap his heavy chains. He charged straight at him, blasting raw demonic energy and shouting, "You are just some pathetic headsman. You have zero right to kill me." But Namuja, he stepped up and casually ended him. So fast, so perfectly precise. But the scariest part, he felt absolutely nothing, which honestly makes for a top-tier executioner. But then everything went totally sideways. Why? Because the guy discovered the toxic thrill of gambling. He became completely obsessed with odds, betting lucky streaks, and absolute nonsense. The dude literally started mixing his job with his gambling addiction. Instead of just executing guilty prisoners, he would pull out dice right in front of them. Namuja wins, you die on the spot. The prisoner wins, boom, you walk away completely free. Total absolute arrogance from a guy controlling lives. He completely lost his mind, literally letting random blind luck decide who survived and who got erased. Like this one time he rolled the dice, looking at a terrified female prisoner. "Roll higher than me," he smirked, "and you get to live." She started sobbing, praying for a total miracle. Lucky for her, Namuja rolled terribly. He laughed, telling her the odds were completely in her favor. Then he literally shoved the dirty dice into her mouth. "Alright," he grinned. "Your turn. Spit them out good." Shaking, she managed to spit them onto the floor. A 6, exactly 1 point higher than his terrible roll. Her eyes lit up with pure hope, while Namuja just scratched his head like damn missed by one. He actually told his assistant to untie her while she cried, thanking him endlessly. He just shrugged. She saved her pathetic life thanks to a single point on the die. Talk about insane luck. If he lost, they walked away free. If he won, he would laugh wildly while taking their heads, calling this absolute nightmare pure luck. But wait, it gets so much worse. To really get his sick gambling fix, he started forcing absolutely defenseless victims to play people who did not even understand the rules. Take little Ray Ryan, for example. Just a kid who sneaked through a dimensional gate without asking first. He broke a minor rule, his official sentence jail time and losing his demonic abilities for exactly 100 years. Namuja looked at the paperwork and scoffed. "Kids these days are so soft," he complained. "They do not even hand out real harsh punishments anymore." "Absolutely boring," he complained. So he just slapped a single playing card down and told the kid to play along. Dead simple rules. Flip the card over. If the kid's number beat Namuja's number, boom, all his charges dropped instantly. But if he lost, instant death. Sounds like a total steal, right? The poor kid was shaking, stammering that it was fine. He begged to just serve his jail time instead. Namuja suddenly grabbed his hair, growling. "Should have thought about that before breaking the law, kid." "Flip the card right now," he ordered. He had literally rigged the whole situation for him. The kid flipped his card. A 4. Namuja's card, a solid 7. Namuja burst out laughing, celebrating his sick win. The boy started bawling his eyes out, crying that he was just curious. He only peeked at the human world for a second. He promised to surrender all his powers forever if he would just spare his life. But Namuja, just a ruthless, lightning-fast strike right to the neck. The kid hit the floor, taking his final breath. And this psycho, he just sighed, complaining that modern kids seriously lack mental toughness. If you bet your life like a real demon, at least have the guts to take the loss and die quietly, right? Just blame your own terrible luck, kid. See, when someone loses a game here, Namuja literally eats them alive. Body bones, pure terror, and even their actual soul. Eating weaker demons is a massive taboo, but breaking rules was basically his favorite hobby. He was not an executioner anymore. Just an insatiable predator, an absolute monster driven completely insane by a gambling addiction. Eventually, word of this madness reached Ravi. He was completely forced to step in and deliver punishment.